It's Michael Stack.
Today, intervals of sun and clouds with a passing shower or two. High 77, clear skies for tonight, low 61. Wednesday, sunshine and a couple clouds, high 80. A passing shower early, otherwise intervals of sun and clouds. Thursday, high 73. I'm Michael Stack on AM 560, The Answer.
64 at O'Hare, 67 along the lakefront. This morning in Aurora, it's 56. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Amy, I'm back in studio today.
Yeah.
After our little field trip yesterday, Joe Cotton Ford, which was fun.
I want to thank all our listeners, too. Or we should both thank our listeners who stopped by for a chance to win tickets to Freedom Summit and to stop by and say hi.
Yeah, and help you car shop.
Exactly.
That was good.
It was fun.
So meanwhile, I don't know if the Finnish president knew what he was in for. Doing that joint presser with President Trump, but a lot of topics for the president to address.
Did you see his face the entire press conference? He was a little like...
I think his translator was turned off, so he just nodded and smiled, so he didn't have to get pulled into some of these conversations.
Yeah, the one time he looked a little horrified, but we'll go through the whole thing.
Well, here's what Trump had to say about, most importantly, this natural disaster in Houston, Hurricane Harvey, and the destruction it has wrought, and is federal relief coming and coming swiftly?
I think that you're going to see very rapid action from Congress, certainly from the president. And you're going to get your funding. It's a terrible tragedy. Your governor has been absolutely outstanding in the job he's done and his entire staff. And I will say that I just spoke with Greg, and he is working like 24/7. We expect to have requests on our desk fairly soon. I think that Congress will feel very much the way I feel, in a very bipartisan way. That will be nice. But we think you're going to have what you need, and it's going to go fast.
Okay.
So that's
very presidential,
And correspondingly, Ted Cruz was on MSNBC yesterday. He's obviously from Houston. He lives in Houston, a United States Senator from Texas. And he was speaking with Katie Tur on MSNBC kind of in real time at a convention center that's being used as a shelter at this juncture, talking about what the focus is right now.
And I'll tell you right now, the highest priority still remains on the preservation of life, on high water rescues, people who are still trapped. It is still raining like crazy outside, and the flooding continues to rise. I think we're headed towards getting through this, and we're going to get through this. But right now, there's been an incredible coordination of assets, of local and state and federal assets, all working together, first responders risking their lives to pull people out of harm's way.
And just to give you a sense of the scope of the assets being deployed?
We've got over 500 Texas DPS troopers here in Houston. We've got over 3,000 National Guardsmen. We've got the Coast Guard that is actively assisting in search and rescue. We've got actually the Border Patrol down from the border that has high water rescue experience coming up to provide assistance. And the focus needs to be continuing on reaching those people in need.
And so they've had 6,000 plus rescues so far, but there's tens of thousands of people who are still stuck in their homes. And they're asking people, again, with boats to help out, and they are responding. But if you need help, they're asking people to hang a sheet in your window to let people know that you need to be rescued.
Well, speaking of the boats, I mean, it's a veritable Dunkirk with the Cajun Navy serving the role of British citizens. Cajun Navy, a group of Louisianans that deployed their boats, drove over. There's a lot of video on Facebook about it. The Louisiana Cajun Navy is what they call themselves.
That's awesome.
And they're become known for their response during natural disasters, Katrina, now Harvey. They actually took fire.
What?
The group said shots were fired at the boats during incidents where they were attempting to rescue people who were stranded. dealing with looters, and they posted on Facebook that the team members are safe. Looters decided to pose as people needing rescue, and they attempted to overtake the boats, and there were shots fired at the boats. I repeat that all are safe. Looters must not have wanted boats in the water for rescues. Please feel free to share this post. We're standing down pending a new strategic plan. So looters pretending to be stranded only to rob people. So you've got that element too. I mean, that's a small element, but it's an element nonetheless. But the heroic thing is these private American citizens responding to deploy their personal resources to help other people.
But if you lived there, I mean, would you have evacuated? When the governor says, if you decide to stay in your house, write your name and social security number on your arm in a Sharpie, with a Sharpie. That to me would be sounding the alarm, and that you might want to leave.
Yeah, maybe I want to go stay with relatives for a little while.
In 1 week, they've had a whole year full of rainfall. I mean, because now it's starting again.
Talking about like 36 inches. I've seen some of the totals in certain parts of the Gulf Coast area.
That's what they get in a year's time. And it's coming again because it keeps spinning over. And what else is coming today is President Trump and Melania. They're going to land at Corpus Christi. They're going to spend some time there. Then they're going to head up to the FEMA headquarters in Austin, Texas.
And I mean,
what's he going to wear? I suggest not wearing the suit. I suggest, being a little more casual.
Yeah.
And don't do a flyover.
His attire,
which I don't think he's going to do.
The least of concerns.
But that is the best way to see the damage too, is to do a flyover.
Well, at least in part, and then land and talk to emergency responders on the ground. I suppose to get a sense of it, as well as other public officials that are on the ground that have federal responsibility over resources.
Or do you think he needs to go?
It's really interesting though. I mean, it's just like you've seen some of the images. You saw in one area a shark.
Oh yeah, there's sharks. There's alligators.
There's fire ants. Did you see the amalgams of fire ants floating?
Yeah, and then there's snakes everywhere. There's snakes. One of our my volleyball players, her aunt and uncle, they live in Corpus Christi, and they said they are stuck in their house because of snakes, and then there's an alligator in their backyard, and so they're waiting. And every day they move up a floor. They started, on the first floor because there's no basements in Texas. And now, some people are living in the attic.
And they're suggesting that aid will be required for up to like 500,000 people, 500,000 people.
The total estimate right now is $40 billion, they think, to rebuild. But the problem is that's a major hub for gasoline. I mean, that is all of Corpus Christi and Galveston. They millions of barrels of oil are not being produced and shipped out right now.
Yeah, there's also this issue.
We're going to feel this at a pump in a few weeks.
There's this issue. The National Flood Insurance Program owes $24 billion to the Treasury. Most of it covered claims from Katrina in 2005 and Sandy in 2012. But the National Flood Insurance Program extended 17 times between 2008 and 2012, lapsed 4 times during that period. It's the only source of flood insurance for most Americans, so this is why this program is particularly important. And Harvey-related claims covered under the program could push it deeper into the red, according to Vice President of a think tank in D.C., familiar with the program. He suggests that possibly moving it towards its borrowing limit of just over $30 billion. So, federal law requires homes in floodplains to have flood insurance before a mortgage can be completed, but it's the National Flood Insurance Program through which most people living in floodplains get their homeowners insurance. And so you've got this additional complication of, federal resources, frankly, to devote to this in terms of immediate aid, but then as you were suggesting, the rebuild is another matter.
But I feel President Trump, his heart's in the right place. He really feels for the people of Houston.
I've already spoken to Congress, and everybody feels for you and feels for what you're going through.
Because it's a historic storm.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
And during that press conference with the president of Finland, President Trump made a comment about Sheriff Joe Arpaio, maybe to get more coverage during the storm. We'll explain. But first, here's your forecast. Patchy fog at times this morning. We'll have some clouds and sun, a passing shower this afternoon, a high of 77 degrees. Tonight it will be clear. And then for tomorrow, Wednesday, partly sunny, a gorgeous day, a high of 80 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Eastbound 8094. Got a big jam from Bird to Grant. There's a rollover crash there at Grant. 2 center lanes are blocked, backing up quickly, and it's a pretty heavy delay at the moment starting at Burr. The westbound side is okay. Stevenson Expressway outbound, still a little heavy past County Line. Overnight roadwork has cleared, so it's just a little residual congestion. The inbound side is still okay. No delays to report yet on the Edens, Kennedy for the Eisenhower. Inbound Ryan just a little sluggish approaching downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both with about 2 to 3 minutes worth of delays approaching the Ryan. The Illinois tollways are looking good. Starting today in Hinsdale, the ramp from southbound 83 to 55th closed for a couple of days till Thursday. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
All right, well, I don't know. There's some disagreement. Apparently, at least the fire ants I know are real, but the shark in Houston, not real. The shark in Houston floodwaters, not real. So, I don't know. Maybe we got duped by an internet hoax there. We got an alert listener who pointed it out, so we'll try and avoid the fake news, but as you know, it's difficult in these times. Upstream-ideas.com, premium content on our digital platform that complements what we do each morning on this show, long-form interviews in our Against the Current series. This week featuring the WVON morning team of Charles Thomas and Maze Jackson. We talk about race relations in America, but particularly in Chicago and Illinois. It's 60-second sanity commentaries from yours truly, 2-minute warnings from Pat Hughes of Illinois Opportunity Project. Podcast for Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics airs on these airwaves Sundays at 3 p.m., as well as Heart of the Matter. It's our new series featuring professional women speaking colleague to colleague about the important policy issues of the day and the impact on families. And finally, a new feature, defendhomeowners.com. Defendhomeowners.com, that's our portal that gives you a specific report on your property taxes on your home, your residential property, in comparison to what you would pay, how much home you could buy if you were living in a similarly situated house in Indiana, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, Wisconsin. So you have some context about the property tax burden Illinoisans shoulder, the highest in the nation. You can check it all out at upstream-ideas.com.
Are you putting your retirement savings in a 401k, IRA, or investment account? Then I have one word of advice. Stop. Experts warn of a stock market crash any day now, and you could lose 50% or more of your hard-earned savings again. But you don't have to lose a penny. There's a better, safer way to save for retirement, and you can learn about it in a free report. This method continues to grow your money even when the market tumbles. To get this free report, go to bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com. Bankonyourself.com.
Finding great people to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Tired of it? It's time to try ZipRecruiter, where 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within 1 day. How? Using powerful technology, ZipRecruiter matches your job to the right candidates fast. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
Do you know the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers? We do. Do you know how to make your logo come alive and magnetically attract new, long-lasting customers? We do. And do you know how to ensure your logo is delivered on the right promotional items on time at a great price? We do. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Who are we? We're 4imprint, the nation's leading team to make your logo shine on your choice of thousands of promotional items. And right now, we want to share with you, for free, the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers. Discover them now by texting TOP to 642-642. Let us show you what a difference the right promotional items can make to help grow your brand. With 4imprint, you'll get high-quality products, exclusive items, popular brands, on-time delivery, and outstanding customer service. That's what we do. Discover the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers by texting TOP to 642-642. That's TOP to 642-642. Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
If you're young and healthy, you don't need life insurance, right? Yeah, that's what I used to think too, until my brother died at 38. Joe left his wife with 2 kids, a mortgage, and a stack of bills she couldn't pay. Mary had to sell the house and move everybody into this tiny 2-bedroom apartment just to make ends meet. I never want to do that to my wife, so I got life insurance. I called AIG Direct and was really surprised how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. Listen, if you have a family, you should seriously think about getting life insurance. You'll feel a lot better having it, trust me.
Call AIG Direct for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you could save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-700-5593. That's 1-800-700-5593. 1-800-700-5593.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about fake sharks, but real flooding and devastation in Houston. And takes a couple of your calls. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I was just at a bike race in Texas, so I was coming back. And on the way back, on the other side of the road, of course, was convoys, electrical repair vehicles, that the utility companies use. I'm just wondering, how do they expect those people to listen to the radio or call on the phone? Do they even have power to even call for help? I really don't. I don't think so. I think they're just that whole. And the one guy I work with, I talked to him the other day. His house is 4 feet of water. What could possibly be saved in that house? That whole thing's got to be destroyed.
Yeah.
So I just feel so bad for all these people, and I wish you would talk to one of your experts, one of your commercial guys that actually do remodeling. What can these people do? I'm just so curious how they're going to handle this.
And real quick too, how'd the bike race go? I mean, it was like a scene from Breaking Away.
You know what? I did a lot better than my previous years, but I finished in the middle in my age group, the over 60 group. So
Dan will be sure to tweet that.
Good, very good. Well, congratulations. Thanks for the call, Ed. And
in situations like this, I mean, they're getting 15 more inches this morning. You have to wait for the waters to recede, and then people will be allowed back. But they even brought a plane full of people on United Airlines from Houston here to Chicago. They're trying to get people out of the town.
We'll talk to Scott Wilder from Feed the Children at the bottom of the 6 o'clock hour, too, with some perspective from boots on the ground that may be, that I'm sure will be informative
and
as well.
what we can do here in Chicago to help those in need in Houston.
Robert in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, one of my friends, we've all seen the videos of the houses on the stilts. And the one house that you see where only the roofing is torn off, that was one of my friends that built that home. And he built it with specs from Chicago, okay, because all the other homes are torn apart and there's one house standing. There has to be very strict building codes.
They don't have that in Houston. They have none. You can build a church next to a strip club, next to a school.
I understand that, but the taxpayers of the United States are going to have to rebuild that entire area, and they have to implement strict building codes.
Well, maybe it'll be a time for them to change their building codes.
Thanks for the call, Robert. Also, this story, Joel Osteen, kind of a golden boy of Houston. His megachurch is located in Houston, for those that don't know, the Lakewood Church. And he's taken on some water himself reputationally.
Yeah, he's not opening his doors. He canceled the Sunday services, but his thousands of flooded out residents want to seek shelter in his church, and he locked the doors. He's not letting them in. He tweeted that, Jesus promises peace that passes understanding. But he's not open. He's not helping people. I mean, he's not helping people. Excuse me.
So there's we heard from Ted Cruz. He was at the George Brown Convention Center, which is nearby, where that's being used as a shelter. Osteen's spokesman said, while the church and arena have not suffered any flood damage yet, the property is inaccessible because of surrounding waters. I don't know what the truth is down there. I haven't seen Google Maps aerial imagery of it, but it's I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know if that's
people are taking him
true
to
or not.
task. I mean, it doesn't make one person tweeted. It doesn't make sense why you're not opening your mega church to house Houston citizens. Help me understand that, Jesus.
Well,
I mean, they've given him money over the years, his church money over the years, and they want help.
Help me understand that, period. Jesus, as in like. Yes.
Like an interjection.
And
rats, darn.
And again, his spokesman has responded to the issue And so I suppose that issue would need to be addressed by those that are complaining that he hasn't opened it, because I don't know the answer. Randy in Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. Listen, I just listened to this clown from Chicago talk about no building codes. I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. My brother is still a builder in the state of Texas, and there are building codes down there. This was a Category 4 hurricane. It will take most anything off of its foundation. I've grown up around those floods. They happen all the time. You bring a flood through Chicago like that and see what happens. Remember, natural disasters, these things occur, and that kind of rhetoric aggravates you when you try and put down something or somebody in that kind of environment. Why don't we get behind them instead of accusing them of being insubordinate or stupid? Why don't we get behind them, help them rebuild?
Thanks.
Chicago sucks, man.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Randy. I get it. Yeah, I don't know that Texas or Houston specifically wants to take a lot of instruction from Chicago, particularly on issues related to government.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Speaking of government, and our sorry one at the state level, education funding compromise deal moves out of the House yesterday to the Senate today at 5:38.
And later at 6:06, did the president pardon Sheriff Joe Arpaio to get more coverage during the storm? But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Low visibility this morning. A dense fog advisory is up for many parts of Chicagoland until 9 a.m. It's been another night of misery and uncertainty in America's fourth largest city as parts of Houston remain underwater. Tropical storm Harvey pounding the area with rain again today. The storm is not finished. Joe King and his wife and child were forced to flee their home overnight, and they had to head to shelter this morning.
We've lost everything, so we're going to see.
Floodwaters continue to rise at alarming rates in Houston. Heavy rains of Tropical Storm Harvey moving into South Louisiana, where National Guard troops have been deployed to the southwest portion of that state. President Trump expects Congress to move quickly to approve Harvey aid.
Recovery will be a long and difficult road, and the federal government stands ready, willing and able to support that effort.
During a White House news briefing, the president said he will travel to the Texas Gulf Coast to ensure the state has everything it needs. Members of the Louisiana volunteer group known as the Cajun Navy are on edge this morning. Some members of that team were shot at by looters yesterday who attempted to overtake their boats. In a first, North Korea fires mid-range ballistic missiles designed to carry a nuclear payload that flew over Japan and then splashed into the northern Pacific Ocean. The launch sends a clear message of defiance as Washington and Seoul continue to conduct war games. Police are investigating an apparent murder-suicide after a woman and her young twin daughters were found dead in Joliet. They say their bodies were discovered yesterday inside a home in the 400 block of North Reed. The Illinois Senate expected to take up a school funding overhaul that will increase aid to most of the state's more than 800 districts. Many parts of that compromise legislation that passed the House are opposed by teachers' unions. Mike Montgomery's 7+ innings of one-run ball. Cubs beat the Pirates 6-1. Sox start a 3-game set with the Twins. The news, a service of Uber. This time of year's tough balancing act is free time versus earning extra money. Get time on your side and get your side hustle on and drive with Uber to earn extra money on your time when it works for you. Sign up today at uber.com/drive-now. Certain restrictions apply. See site for details. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says it's not time to play politics.
I run away from the politicizing of natural disasters. I hate political gamesmanship that people engage in. This is not a time for that. Right now, the people of Texas need our help, need our prayers, and we don't need to point any fingers of blame.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Right now with Gallagher.
Galaxy. Buy one cabinet, get one free. Visit us online at galaxyhome.com to schedule your free in-home estimate. Save an additional $500 when you book right now.
Message and data rates may apply.
Attention, it is illegal to text and drive. So if you're experiencing hair loss and you want a permanent solution, please pull over now, because an incredible offer that could give you your hair back is just one text away. Bosley is America's #1 hair restoration expert, always pioneering the latest technology. And now we're giving everyone who texts GROW to 543-543 an absolutely free information kit that reveals just how easy and affordable this permanent solution really is. Don't wait. When you text GROW to 543-543, we'll also give you a gift card for $250 off. Millions of men and women have come to Bosley for a permanent solution to hair loss. So pull over now and see for yourself how great your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit. Text GROW to 543-543. Plus, get a free gift card. This amazing offer is just one text away. GROW to 543-543.
5:35. Let's get an update on the roads now. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound 8094, it is jammed solid from before Bird to Grant Street. We got a crash at Grant. 2 center lanes are blocked, and a truck involved. The cab separates from the trailer. This may take a while to clear, so that delay is likely to grow, and it's a pretty solid jam already. The westbound side is okay. We don't really have any significant gapers plays at this point, but that may also change soon. Edens is clear, so is the Kennedy. Reversibles are open inbound. About Eisenhower, just a 1 or 2 minute delay from 25th Avenue to 9th Avenue. Down Stevenson, delays start at Cicero. 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57. 30 minutes, I-80 to the Verge, Bishop 424. In traffic, it's a service of Back to School Illinois. Back to School Illinois provides school supplies for children in need. You can help by making a donation at any neighborhood currency exchange or at b2si.org. Back to School Illinois, working to improve educational opportunities for Illinois children. b2si.org. Traffic answers when you need them. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Patchy morning fog, times of clouds and sun. We may have a shower or two in the afternoon as temperatures build up toward a high of 77. Clear and 61 overnight. Partly sunny and 80 tomorrow. Currently 64 at O'Hare, 67 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Are you sure your business is being seen online? Visit beingseen360.com to discover how being seen online can improve traffic, leads, and sales. beingseen360.com.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Speaking of local and state government, up here we have man-made disasters while Houston deals with natural disasters. 2 big items yesterday. One, which happened early evening, is the House passed out the education funding compromise legislation that now goes to the Senate today, likely to pass, likely to be signed by the governor. It is a bailout of Chicago. There's no question about it. It is mostly the garbage that we've always done, with one big exception. And the big exception is tax credit scholarships. $100 million tax credit scholarship fund that will provide scholarships for low to middle income families. We're talking about up to household incomes of $80,000. So really upper middle income families when you're talking about a median household income in the state of about $55,000. Real deal.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only game changer here. And is it the question, of course, that legislators had to ask themselves and answer, particularly conservatives, is it worth it? Is it worth it to endure more of the garbage in order to get tax credit scholarships? And my assessment is that it is, because tax credit scholarships changes the landscape. It's the only structural reform. It's the only structural reform really in K through 12 education in 3 decades.
Oh, yeah, but I heard lawmakers yesterday say, this is going to take children out of public schools and yada, yada. They're yammering. And their initial vote, it didn't pass. I mean, the initial vote was what? 46 to 61.
Yeah.
And then they
so
went back to
that
their
was that was a
caucuses
structured virtue signaling vote.
Okay.
Then they did another. Then Madigan did a structured vote. Well, not a structured vote, but a prove-up vote to his caucus that they didn't have the numbers to override Governor Rauner's mandatory veto. Then they came back to revote the original legislation, which is the compromise deal. So that's just political theater in Springfield. The lawmakers, Democrats and teachers union flax. Let's be specific about which lawmakers and who they're beholden to. That's who are criticizing the tax credit scholarships. And many of those, of course, the beneficiaries of private schools themselves, both individually as well as for their children. Kwame Raoul, for example. Christian Mitchell, for example. Bought and paid for teachers union automatons who've benefited from the choice their parents had and made, benefited from private schooling for me, but not for the Democrats and some Republicans, but mostly Democrats. So on balance, though, this is important. And here's the piece of this too that nobody will say except me because it's true, but you don't want to say it if you're a legislator or the governor.
Oh, what?
The garbage side of this, which started from a garbage premise of evidence-based funding. So, of course, it was going to be garbage premise, garbage conclusion. It's fairy tale math. We'll never have the money to make to keep the promises that were made on the garbage side of this deal. The tax credit side of this deal, tax credit scholarship side of this deal, however,
is real
because it is based on voluntary contributions from individuals and corporations, and you derive the tax credit. Those funds go to SGOs, scholarship granting organizations, nonprofits. There are strictures by which they mete out scholarships, which they provide scholarships up to certain thresholds. And we're talking big numbers, up to $12,300 per year. So that gets you all the way home in a lot of schools and most of the way home in other schools, like where I went, Bennett, or close to it at St. Ignatius, some of the best schools in the state, some of the best schools in the country. That is a huge deal, and it shouldn't be underestimated because of the garbage on the other side of it. So that's where that is at. And I suppose
because you got one for compromise, but they had to have a compromise.
Well, and the landscape is the landscape. It's a compromise where you get structural reform. Those are the only compromises I'm willing to make. If you get structural reform to change the trajectory of all of these failing systems in the state, including K through 12 education, and frankly, to continue tortured hurricane analogies, I want to get as many families in lifeboats as quickly as we can, and that's what tax credit scholarships do.
So they give a $75 million tax credit for people who donate to that private scholarship.
75% tax credit.
Okay.
And so 75 cents on the dollar.
Got it.
Or up to
That's a good deal. I mean,
it is a good. It's going. Florida did it more than a dozen years ago. Started at a $25 million fund. Today, $600 million fund. Wow. And all of the tens of thousands of families who've benefited as a result who are accessing those scholarship funds.
That's wonderful.
That's a real thing. Okay. And again, the landscape is the Republican Party is effectively a super minority party in the General Assembly. So that's the landscape Illinois has given us on which to operate. And to get anything of a structural reform nature on that landscape is no easy task. So that's
now, on the other side, where is this hypothetical money coming from?
What hypothetical money?
No. To fund the districts.
Well, there's an infusion of cash this fiscal year.
Okay.
But in terms of the offloading of Chicago teacher pension and healthcare costs,
yeah, that's.
Where's that coming from? That's coming from the same magical place that doesn't exist that the rest of the unfunded pension liabilities we're going to somehow cover are coming from. Not coming with structural reforms. There's nothing structural in terms of reforming how K through 12 schools are funded. And, of course, the evidence-based model, which has been tried in a few states, most notably Wyoming, and I understand Wyoming's not Illinois, blah, blah, blah. The dynamics are the same. It's just a smaller version of it. Here's the result in Wyoming, the only other state that really implemented over some extended period of time to measure the results. You spent more money, teacher salaries went up, you had more staff, nothing improved with respect to student outcomes. That's what this is, and it's the same thing on the other side of this. Everything else, other than the tax credit scholarship, is just to propagate an unfinanceable status quo that drives up costs and adds personnel and does nothing in terms of student achievement, which is what we've been doing in K through 12 for some 40 years. So why stop now?
So it's the Unicorn Rainbows Pension Fund.
It's for the adults. It's money for the adults. It's all about inputs. It has nothing to do with the student outcomes. It is not child-centered. It's adult-centered. That's what K through 12 is in Illinois, and particularly in Chicago. So that's what you want. That's what you got. And then the other big news, of course, is Governor Rauner, as expected, and as we talked about yesterday, 10:30 yesterday morning, had a big hoop-de-doo at Mi Tierra in Little Village and signed the sanctuary state legislation. I know that the Illinois Republican Party and the governor's office is doing their best to try and recast this as not sanctuary state legislation, but that's what it is.
How are they trying to recast it?
Oh, it doesn't, just basically the things that we've discussed and what you heard from our current. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change how law enforcement does their job. It's not sanctuary state. It provides for, more inclusion. It's law enforcement supports this. So you have people that are responsive in emergencies, calling 911 and being good Samaritans and so on and so forth. Makes Illinois more welcoming. That's their language. The Department of Justice responded through a spokesman. As the Attorney General has said, when cities and states refuse to help enforce our immigration laws, our nation is less safe. Failure to deport aliens who are convicted for criminal offenses puts whole communities at risk, especially immigrant communities in the very sanctuary jurisdictions that seek to protect the perpetrators. Kyle McCarter, who's a retiring state senator from Southern Illinois, who will join us at the top of the 7 o'clock hour, Republican, said, "This could be the last straw, and every day I'm feeling worse. And this isn't just the, quote, right wing, unquote, that's angry. These are union members, too, loyal union men trying to protect American jobs. And the last thing they need to see is a Republican governor making Illinois a sanctuary state." He essentially, went on to say that it certainly complicates the message Republicans are trying to deliver in the 2018 election cycle. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Your reactions to either one of those, one is not finalized yet, but it will be, the school funding deal, and the Trust Act is now the law.
It's hard to even look at the pictures. I mean, he's surrounded by law enforcement officials. This is Governor Rauner, and immigrant rights activists, and while he's signing the Trust Act.
Mm-hmm. When I say it's the law, it's a sort of ironic, right? It's the law that says we're not going to follow the law.
I was really waiting for President Trump to tweet something about it. I mean, there's still time, but
yes, right.
He's a little busy right now, but yeah.
One other piece of legislation Rauner signed, we mentioned the trans birth certificates yesterday. Also, he signed automatic voter registration. So this is any interaction you have with a state agency, the state agency will automatically register you or update your registration info. Okay?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. This story from Chicago City Wire, one of the outlets that I publish. More than 14,000 votes cast in Chicago during the 2016 election than there were voters to cast them. So
14,000?
14,000 more
come
votes.
to life election day.
14,000 plus more votes cast in Chicago in the 2016 general election than there were voters to cast them. 1.101178 people voted in the general election. That was the Chicago Board of Elections number. An earlier post on the board's website said it was 1.115664. So there's a discrepancy there. And Chris Cleveland, Chicago GOP, did his own calculations, and combined total of votes in precincts showing more votes cast than voters was approximately 16,000, according to Chris Cleveland, Chicago Republican Party. That's so you know. Mark in Des Plaines, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, Dan, why did he sign? Why did Rauner sign that? And also, this means that this means that illegals are going to vote. You know, it's infuriating. It makes my tongue. It makes me go numb. You know what I mean? What is going on? Why did Rauner sign this stupid thing?
What's your assessment of Rauner, and what kind of leader, governor, or person do you think he is?
I thought he was a Republican at first. Now I'm thinking, I don't know, is he Republican? Who is this guy? Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
yeah,
I worked for this guy, Dan.
Yeah,
I'm upset.
Thanks for the call, Mark. I appreciate it. I understand it. Let me just suggest something I suggested back in the day during the 2014 cycle when I was at WLS.
Mm-hmm.
In the primary and the general, I took a lot of heat for it. A lot of Republicans criticized me for, you're undermining the Republican Party. You're undermining our nominee when he was the nominee. How dare you question Rauner in the primary? This from Tea Party members, too, because the others were just the establishment hacks, and at least Rauner was somebody new coming from the outside. And here's what I suggested. I suggested that my concern with Bruce Rauner, who I didn't know very well at the time, I know much better now, is not that he is friends with Rahm Emanuel. It's that he is Rahm Emanuel. That's my concern. My concern is, and what I mean by that...
Yeah, in what way?
What I mean by that is he is transactional. There's no foundation. It is just transactional. It is political expediency over principle. It is a willingness to renege and negotiate after the fact and essentially pander and preen in any fashion that is accessible in order to try and salvage himself politically. That's what Rahm Emanuel does. That's what he does.
And you've said often, too, that, I heard Governor Rauner say he's not campaigning on social issues, that it's just about turning Illinois around and turning the economy around.
Yeah, that's interesting that you bring that up because there was this fascinating piece in the Sun-Times over the weekend. How Bruce Rauner's wife, Diana, and Shirley Madigan, Mike Madigan's wife, are such fast friends. They text back and forth with emojis. It's all very cute. And then there's this statement that Diana Rauner made. I consider my husband and I warriors for social justice.
She said that to the Sun-Times reporter?
Just neat. I got it right here, black and white. I consider my husband and I warriors for social justice. No social agenda?
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
What do you call charging thousands of dollars for hearing aids? I call it outrageous because hearing should not be a privilege for the rich. It's a basic right everyone deserves. Hi, I'm Dr. Chira Curry, board-certified ear, nose, and throat physician. If you or a loved one suffer from hearing loss but can't afford thousands for a hearing aid, I created MD Hearing Aid for you. A high-quality medical-grade hearing aid for a fraction of that price.
Try MD Hearing Aid at home, risk-free for 45 days. Call 1-800-300-0868.
No costly doctor's visit. No expensive and time-consuming fittings or appointments. No ugly, old-fashioned hearing aid that costs thousands. MD Hearing Aid is an FDA-registered, audiologist-tested hearing aid that's discreet and lets you hear what you've been missing at a savings of more than 80% off the average price of a traditional hearing aid.
Try MD Hearing Aid risk-free for 45 days. Call 1-800-300-0868. Plus, you'll get free shipping and free batteries for a year. 1-800-300-0868.
Acme Home Insurance.
Yes, I'd like to make a claim.
What are you wanting to claim, sir?
My air conditioner broke down.
Sorry, but your home insurance doesn't cover air conditioner breakdowns.
So what do you cover?
Home damage from things like earthquakes, volcanoes, a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse? But that'll never happen.
But if it did, you'd be covered, sir.
But not my air conditioner?
I'm afraid not.
But his air conditioner could have been covered with a home warranty from American Home Shield. We cover major components of air conditioners, plus 20 other home systems and appliances, like electrical systems, plumbing, refrigerators, and more. For valuable free information, call 1-800-400-6096. Homeowners insurance can cover what might happen.
Zombies are coming!
But a home warranty helps cover what will happen.
Now the dryer won't work.
Be sure with the Shield. American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call 1-800-400-6096. That's 1-800-400-6096. 1-800-400-6096.
Depression. You need to make it go away. Cure or remission is here. The revolutionary treatment of TMS.
800-604-0208.
TMS therapy is drug-free and non-invasive. Here's how it works. There are areas of the brain that control mood. If you suffer from depression, research has found these areas to be underactive. TMS therapy uses safe, small magnetic fields, similar to those used in an MRI. They stimulate and activate these mood centers, causing long-term, medication-free relief. HBR centers in Chicagoland and Wisconsin offer TMS. End the frustration with life and relationships.
It's FDA cleared and it is covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare.
Dangerous drugs and other treatments just mask the depression. Cure or remission. Get a free consultation.
800-604-0208.
HBR centers. Go to endmydepression.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
5:56. Let's get an update on the roads this early morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound 8094, traffic is at a standstill from Klein Avenue to Grant for a crash involving a truck separating the cab from the trailer. That's got 3 right lanes blocked now. So this delay is growing, and it's likely to grow more. Westbound, no more than a very slight Gapers delay at Grant at the moment. Toll Road is clear. It's a potential alternate. Edens is looking good. Kennedy inbound. Got a couple of slow spots now. It's 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 21. The Eisenhower inbound. Heavy starting at Wolf. Travel time 35 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 31. Inbound Stevenson delay start at 83. It is 54 minutes already. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Got a crash past Cicero just reported. The outbound side's okay. The Ryan 22 minutes. 95th to downtown. And traffic and service of Staples. With free next day delivery from Staples, you can run your business like a pro. Go to staples.com for the office essentials you need delivered next day free on eligible items only and orders over $49.99 placed by 5 p.m. Excludes weekends and holidays. Staples, it's pro time. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Michael Stack.
Sunshine and clouds with a passing shower or two. Today's high 77. Clear skies tonight, low 61. Wednesday, sunshine and a couple clouds, high 80. An early passing shower Thursday, high 73. I'm Michael Stack on AM 560, The Answer.
64 at O'Hare. The news, a service of Rogers and Hollins, a milestone birthday or an engagement, a new baby or a promotion. At Rogers and Hollins, you'll find the perfect collection of jewelry for every life celebration. Come start your story and forever remember your moment. Use promo code FOREVER for 10% online. 5:59. Here are the stories we are following on AM 560, The Answer. Commuters dealing with some low visibility issues on the roadways. A dense fog advisory is up until 9 a.m. Police are investigating an apparent murder-suicide after a woman and her young twin daughters were found dead in Joliet. The Illinois Senate expected to take up a school funding overhaul, a measure that will increase aid to all of the state's more than 800 districts, according to lawmakers who are set to convene later today for a vote on that measure. A trial date set for October 2019 in a lawsuit brought by a former Illinois prosecutor acquitted in the 2006 death of his first wife. And a federal kidnapping trial for the man accused in the abduction of a University of Illinois scholar has been rescheduled. Cubs over the Pirates. White Sox start a 3-game set with the Twins. More Dan and Amy after Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Some areas have had 40 inches of rain. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I have never experienced anything like this. I didn't even imagine that it was going to be this catastrophic like this. This is horrible.
She's one of the many evacuees in Houston. 9,000 now crowding into the convention center shelter, nearly double what was planned for.
We just had a rescue about an hour ago from someone who was driving in high water trying to get through, and that's what happens if you walk up and you go very far through this. I mean, right now it's up to my ankles, but you walk a ways and it's up to your waist, and that's why we have these thousands of rescues that have taken place.
Fox Business Network's Jeff Flock, where it could get worse in Houston. A reservoir expected to spill over in a few hours, further flooding nearby neighborhoods. At least 14 deaths are being reported as a result of the storm, including 6 believed to be submerged in a van that got caught up in floodwater. President Trump will soon head to Texas. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the President and First Lady will visit Corpus Christi and Austin to witness the devastation of Hurricane Harvey. During a news conference at the White House yesterday, President Trump vowed to speed federal funding to hard-hit areas.
We are 100% with you. We're praying for you. We're working closely with your leaders and officials.
The President may visit Louisiana this weekend. Dave.
And Rachel, the now tropical storm Harvey will make landfall again tomorrow, moving into Louisiana. President Trump spent 40 minutes on the phone last night talking to Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who's upset over North Korea's latest missile launch flying over Japan.
We will immediately gather information and analyze it and take all possible measures to ensure our people's safety.
2 people are in critical condition in New Mexico the morning after a gunman, reportedly a teenager, shot 6 people at the Clovis Public Library, killing 2. He then surrendered to police. Fox News, fair and balanced.
For 22 years, he served his country in the United States Marine Corps, including a tour of duty in Vietnam. He earned 2 Purple Hearts, a Bronze Star, and a Silver Star. And this year, on Veterans Day, retired Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North is coming to Chicago for Freedom Summit 2017, November 11th at the Westin Chicago Northwest. See Oliver North, Dinesh D'Souza, Larry Elder, and many more. Get your tickets at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Joe Cotton Ford.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling that you're safe to enjoy the things that matter most. ADT lets you take that feeling with you, whether you're at home, your business, or online. We help keep you safe with security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling for less than $1 a day. ADT, home, safe home.
Can you mow a yard, clean a house, haul off some junk? Then you can make extra money with the Tackle app. Tackle is an amazing new app that connects people who can perform small jobs with customers who need them done. Signing up is easy, so become a Tackle provider today. Go to tackle.com to join. That's TAKL.com. As a Tackle provider, you can be your own boss, set your own hours, and make great money. Go to TAKL.com today.
Does how you feel interfere with your lifestyle? Take control before it does. Harvard Medical recently published a paper on how to decrease your risk of cancer, heart disease, blood pressure, diabetes, bowel and vision problems. The answer, backed by dozens of studies, is not vitamins. It's eating more fruits and vegetables in their whole, complete form. 4 simple tips that I've used with my patients over the years are: 1. Keep fruits and vegetables where you can see them readily. 2. Get crazy. Explore the produce aisle and choose something new. 3. Make it a meal. Try new recipes that include more vegetables and fruits. And the easiest of all, to get the complete nutrition of 31 different fruits and vegetables every day, take Balance of Nature.
What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code
Chicago. When Hurricane Harvey struck Texas and the Gulf Coast over the weekend, the world turned upside down for children and families in its path. When disaster strikes, children suffer in unimaginable ways, and Save the Children is there to meet their unique needs. Even now, Save the Children is in Texas and along the Gulf Coast, making sure hurt and frightened children impacted by Hurricane Harvey get the help they need. To care for and protect children has been the mission of Save the Children for nearly 100 years, so when tragedies like Hurricane Harvey strike, they're prepared and they're on the ground for children and their families around the world and right here at home. Your $50 right now to Save the Children will deliver essential supplies for families forced to evacuate, including hygiene kits, blankets, portable cribs, and strollers. Children are counting on us. Call 888-248-0312. That's 888-248-0312. Or give online right now at savethechildren.org/radio.
Continental Audi of Naperville wants to put you in a new Audi. During the Summer of Audi sales event, now is a great time to buy or lease. And with Continental Audi of Naperville, you get a different kind of buying experience. Straight talk and no hassle. Plus, you get a huge selection of Audis to choose from. For a limited time, lease an Audi A4 Premium for $429 a month and 0 first month's payment. The Audi A4 is one of the best in its class. Swift, silent, and sporty. Plus, Continental has a test track to get in and really drive. Drive an Audi and feel the difference. Drive an Audi from Continental and experience the difference in an exceptional dealer. Experience the Continental Audi difference, where smiles are standard equipment. ContinentalAudi.com or Continental Audi in Naperville on Aurora Avenue at Ogden Avenue. Continental Audi of Naperville wants to put you in the driver's seat of a new Audi. 36 month lease, $31.15 due outstanding plus tax, title, license, and acquisition fee extra. Must qualify through Audi Financial Services. See dealer for details.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We talked to Sheriff Joe Arpaio yesterday as he was much the topic of discussion over the weekend on the Sunday Talkies because he was the recipient of a presidential pardon for his contempt citation. And, of course, the left has called Arpaio everything from a racist to a fascist. And some even suggesting, Michael Gerson on Washington Post suggesting that Trump's pardon of Arpaio, he was actually pardoning himself because they share a penchant for politics that dehumanize people. That's what
and I heard that it's a sign to others that, if you've got Trump's back, he'll get your back.
There was all kinds of theories about it.
My favorite, another theory was that he did it during Hurricane Harvey so that he could sneak it in so that nobody would notice.
But that doesn't seem to be what the president was intending per what he had to say yesterday.
Yes. And here's the question from Fox News' John Roberts.
Mr. President, thank you so much. President Niinistö, I have a question for you as well, but if I could start with President Trump. In the middle of Hurricane Harvey hitting on Friday night, you chose to pardon former Sheriff Joe Arpaio. I wonder if you could tell us what was behind your thinking for issuing a pardon for the sheriff, and as well, what do you say to your critics, even some in your own party, who say it was the wrong thing to do?
Well, a lot of people think it was the right thing to do, John. And actually, in the middle of a hurricane, even though it was a Friday evening, I assumed the ratings would be far higher than they would be normally. The hurricane was just starting. And I put it out that I had pardoned, as we say, Sheriff Joe. He's done a great job for the people of Arizona. He's very strong on borders, very strong on illegal immigration. He is loved in Arizona. I thought he was treated unbelievably unfairly when they came down with their big decision to go get him right before the election voting started, as you know. And he lost in a fairly close election. He would have won the election, but they just hammered him just before the election. I thought that was a very, very unfair thing to do. When I mentioned him the other night, you saw the massive crowd we had. The people went crazy when I said, what do you think of Sheriff Joe, or something to that effect. The place went absolutely crazy when I was in Arizona last week. And as far as pardons are concerned, I actually did this just before the meeting because I assumed that somebody would ask me the question. I didn't know it would be you, as you can attest. You didn't even know you were going to be called. But I thought I would. And, Sheriff Joe is a great veteran of the military, great law enforcement person, somebody that's won many, many elections in the state of Arizona.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Is that statement by Trump meet with your approval, because he's getting a lot of criticism for the first part of that statement where he suggested that he was focused on the ratings aspect
Actually,
of this.
in the middle of a hurricane, even though it was a Friday evening, I assumed the ratings would be far higher than they would be normally. The hurricane was just starting.
I mean, that's what they're saying this morning, that he pardoned Sheriff Joe to get more coverage during the storm, coverage for himself. Do you think there's any truth to that? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. I think that there is a certain rapport between President Trump and that reporter, John Roberts. And I think he was trying to be funny, lighthearted at a time when you shouldn't be. I mean, there's 2 people confirmed dead. 6 family members in a van are missing right now. Children under the age of 16, there's 4 of them in that minivan. It's not the time to try and be cutesy and funny, unless I processed it differently than you did.
I don't think he was trying to be funny. And I think this is one of those stories that's a big story on the cable news channels, and it's not much of a story at all. He was asked whether the question that John Roberts asked him, the implication was he was trying to bury the pardon so people wouldn't notice. It would get lost in the weekend news, right? What's the old cliche about media? You dump things on Friday afternoon, so by the time Monday rolls around, it's a non-story, and people have paid little attention to it because they're engaged in their weekend, right? They're looking forward to their weekend. So he's responding by saying, no, in point of fact, I wasn't trying to bury it. I thought it would have higher profile because people were glued to their television sets watching the hurricane coverage and what was going on in Houston. So in point of fact, I wasn't trying to bury it. I was trying to profile it, because then he goes on to say, hey, I mentioned it in Phoenix when I was there, and you saw the crowd reaction. Mm-hmm. They love Sheriff Joe, and I'm sure it's mixed opinion, but so that's what I think he was doing. I don't think he was being glib or cute. I think he was saying to John Roberts, I wasn't trying to bury it. I was trying to profile it.
Okay. And then he went on to list Democratic pardons from other people, such as Obama and Clinton.
Well, President Clinton pardoned Mark Rich. Susan Rosenberg. President Obama commuted the sentence of Chelsea Manning.
And during that time, the president of Finland was just looking at him going, uh-oh, what did I get myself into?
Well,
that's conjecture on my part, but his body language was quite comical.
Yeah, he did more than that, Trump. I mean, he commuted the sentences of a lot of convicted criminals. There's no question about that. Victor Davis Hanson has a good piece on this, particularly in these times with Trump's standing. Trump compared to what? This is over at AmericanGreatness.com, amgreatness.com. And he writes, among other things, that it's an understatement that the media as we once knew it disappeared sometime in 2008 and became a veritable ministry of truth, as obsequious to Barack Obama as it is hell-bent on destroying Donald Trump. They hated George W. Bush, but not to the degree they have demonized Trump. Reflect on the death of CNN, for example. And he goes back to remind us about the hot mic moments and the James O'Keefe undercover videos that have CNN producers telling you exactly what they're trying to do and exactly what their perspective is on Trump with respect to, say, for example, stay on Charlottesville at all costs, figure out a way to shoehorn Charlottesville into a conversation about a Islamic terrorist attack in Barcelona, for gosh sakes. He also goes on to say something else, Victor Davis Hanson does, in his piece, that is I think a fair shot across the bow and warning to those who are so quick to dispatch Trump. He talking about theories versus practice. When one loses a job, the theories of Milton Friedman, insightful as they are, become a bit irrelevant, as does the advice of coastal conservative pundits to just get in the truck, pack up your history, and drive pell-mell to the oil fields. He goes on to say, if the Republican establishment believes Trump's implosion might pave the way to a return of weekly standard leadership and all the blue wall will stay crumbled, they are sorely mistaken. Like it or not, Trump's paradigm of economic nationalism, reindustrialization, closed borders, and meritocratic legal immigration, principled realism abroad, and fair rather than unfettered trade for now is likely the best message that will win a Republican the White House. And I tell you what, this is a good example of confronting the reality on the ground as it is, not how you wish it were. And if you want to work to change how it is, fine. There's things about what Victor Davis Hanson says here and what Donald Trump proposes as a candidate and as president that I disagree with, and I would like to work to change. But is that a fair read on where the Republican Party is right now, where center mass is for the Republican Party, if you want to stave off the progressive left? I think it is a fair read by VDH, as is normally the case. Bob in DeKalb, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, guys. I don't understand this. He pardoned the guy who was convicted of a misdemeanor that was actually trying to enforce the law. And you have Obama, who pardoned a convicted domestic terrorist, a Puerto Rican nationalist, that actually, had bombed things. I mean, it's no comparison. I can't believe the media would even want to try to make this look bad.
Thanks for the call, Bob. Just going back to the whole pardoning thing and comparing presidents, since we're comparing presidents across this metric. Again, Victor Davis Hanson's piece, which is a must-read, as is always the case with VDH. Talking about whether or not you should abandon Trump for the mortal sins he's committed. There are likely several mortal sins. Is there anything Trump voters could not overlook, he asks, and then he answers. There are several more sins. Should Trump be persuaded to move to the compromising middle, to adopt the policies and tones of Arnold Schwarzenegger in a second term, then his base would likely abandon him. Should Trump's personal excesses become concrete rather than rhetorical and match the sins of a few prior presidents, then his base would abandon him. He goes on to provide examples. We can only calibrate fatal personal behavior on the basis of past presidential felonies. Sex in the bathroom of the Oval Office with a White House young intern. That, again, real, not locker room talk. Using the IRS to hound his political opponents during a re-election bid. Having his national security team reverse target political opponents. Unmasking the names of American citizens, then leaking to a pet press to weaken his opposition. Or secret promise to a foreign leader that the American president would be more flexible after his re-election in exchange for said leader agreeing not to embarrass him during his re-election campaign. By any fair standard, any such behaviors would nullify Trump's message, agenda, and appointments, and would certainly justify abandoning him. And, of course, the implication is when Bill Clinton and Barack Obama did all those things that Victor Davis Hanson ticked off without attribution, did his base abandon him? Did his base abandon Bill Clinton? Did his base abandon Barack Obama? No. Did the media treat them with respect to personal and professional and public conduct the way they're treating Trump for public rhetorical excesses or
well, the only difference I can see is
misstatements?
That those two presidents did not tweet, whereas President Trump tweets on a daily basis, sometimes on an hourly basis.
Yeah, but where does the hypocrisy lie? Is the question. Mm-hmm. Who's changing their standard? Is the question. The fourth estate, how are they affording themselves as compared to their past conduct with respect to past presidents? That's the point. I think it's a pretty powerful one.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, why the song Maryland, My Maryland will no longer be played at football games. And what's up at Berkeley. But first, here's your forecast. Patchy Morning Fog, which was the name of Dan's junior high school band. What will you cover for? Patchy Morning Fog. I'm putting you on the spot.
Dan Fogelberg.
Otherwise, we're going to have clouds and some sun this afternoon. A possibility of a passing shower real quick through here. A high of 77 degrees. Tonight, clear, a low of 61. And for Wednesday, partly sunny skies, warm, just a really gorgeous day. A high near 80 degrees. Anything gorgeous on the roadways? I don't think I-80 is good. Here's Jim Telemonte in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
No, Amy, in northwest Indiana, 8094 is really a mess. It is jammed solid eastbound now from just before Kennedy Avenue to Grant Street. 3 right lanes are blocked at Grant. A truck cab separated from its trailer in a crash there. So it is a long and heavy jam. And now there is a westbound Gapers delay as well from Broadway to Burr. Despite that fog in the area this morning, we're looking at the flight boards at O'Hare and Midway. We see almost no delays or cancellations, so there's some good news. The Edens Expressway is fine. The Kennedy has a couple of slow pockets. 24 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. The Eisenhower's 38 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 37. Problems on the Stevenson. A crash past Cicero just cleared, but it is an hour from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 34 minutes. The Ryan 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Jim Talamonte and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
If you have pain, listen up, Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
Millwright work is often technical and requires a high degree of precision. The pros at Vans Industrial are skilled mechanics that can perform any type of millwright work, including installation and maintenance of your factory equipment and machinery. For your machine repair needs, look no further than Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial millwright contractor that can install new mechanical systems or repair existing systems. Our services include repair of bearings, shafts, shiv alignments, as well as installation of conveyors and bucket elevators. Our team of trained mechanics will respond to your emergency calls 24/7, keeping your systems operational. We're here to help you.
Call 219-931-4881 today for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
The Ford Summer Sales Event is in full swing, and even though summer's almost over, there's still time to save with a brand new Ford from Joe Cotton Ford in Carroll Stream. Hi, it's Amy Jacobson. My family and families all over Chicagoland are getting ready for back to school and all the after-school activities. To help keep up with the busy school year schedule, you need dependable transportation with plenty of room for sports equipment, musical instruments, and all those friends. Joe Cotton Ford is ready to help you find exactly the right vehicle that fits your lifestyle and your budget with no hassles, no drama, and no high-pressure sales tactics. Just what you need for another successful school year. At Joe Cotton Ford, your satisfaction is their top priority. That's why they're one of the highest repeat customer dealerships in Chicagoland, working with generations of Ford buyers and their families. Whether they're buying their first vehicle or their 14th, be ready for another great school year. Get to Joe Cotton Ford and drive home a new Ford car or truck today. Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com. joecottonford.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
Lots happened while people were sleeping.
Well, this hasn't gotten a lot of coverage. Given the nature of it, the attacks in Berkeley over the weekend.
Well, because of Hurricane Harvey, I think.
That's part of it. Now, to be fair, there have been some fairly detailed accounts of what happened in Berkeley with the Antifa thugs, and from the Amazon Post, of all outlets, from a news anchor for KTVU in San Francisco. Listen to the Washington Post account. This is Kyle Swenson for the Amazon Post. A pepper spray-wielding Trump supporter was smacked to the ground with homemade shields. Another was attacked by 5 black-clad Antifas, each windmilling kicks and punches into a man desperately trying to protect himself. Their faces hidden behind black bandanas and hoodies. About 100 anarchists or anarcho-communists and Antifa barreled into a protest Sunday afternoon in Berkeley's Martin Luther King Jr. Civic Center Park. The police also maintained a strict perimeter with 50 police officers spread around the area, including the park's 4 entrances early in the day, enforcing an emergency city rule outlawing sticks and other potential weapons for Antifa. Frank Somerville, news anchor for KTVU in San Fran. I experienced hate firsthand today. It came from these people dressed in all black at a protest in Berkeley. Ironically, they were all chanting about no hate. Some had shields and gloves, some had helmets, some had gas masks. I was watching them and taking it all in. I came there on my own because I wanted to see things firsthand. I was dressed in shorts and a tank top. It's one thing to read about hate. It's another thing to be right next to it. In my opinion, these people dressed in black are just as hateful and intolerant as the people they are protesting against.
Well said.
How about it?
But those anarchists have been around Berkeley forever. I remember when I went to visit, they were taking the heads off of metered parking because they didn't want to pay the government any money. I mean, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
But they're taking it to a new level in that. And I'm glad that reporter didn't have his reporter hat on and had his citizen tank top on and shorts and went and watched it firsthand.
That is his reporter
Because they're preaching
hat.
against hate, but they're starting the hate, and they're preaching against violence, and they're insinuating violence. They're starting violence.
Another, there was a Twitter video showing masked activists, charming activists.
Their activewear.
Kicking a man curled in a fetal position on the ground. They beat him. The beatdown stopped only when a journalist named Al Letson shielded the man with his body. Letson saying, "I was scared they were going to kill him."
Oh.
So the difference is, not only that Trump has, or they're using Trump. I shouldn't say it's not true. It's like I'm not blaming Trump. They're using Trump as the predicate to escalate their violence. And they've got...
gives them a reason to get out and fight.
Yeah, they've got... Well,
they're fixing for a fight.
No, it gives them a predicate to, not a reason. It's a predicate to do what they want to do anyway, which is use violence to advance whatever conflicted, silly, ignorant ideology they cook up in their youth hostels. It also is being covered by academics, like that Dartmouth University professor that we profiled last week, who talked about essentially rationalizing violence, rationalizing phrases like anticipatory self-defense. Anticipatory self-defense. I love the oxymoronic Orwellian lingo. The moral justifications to suppress free speech, which we've heard on college campuses throughout the country. Mm-hmm. And so the difference now is not only they're escalating it, it's that it's being justified or rationalized by leaders of civic institutions like institutions of higher education in this country. And it's being essentially miscovered, generally speaking, by the D.C. press corps, the big government press corps. The greatest threat to Western civilization is handfuls of knucklehead, ignorant white supremacists. But what's happening on college campuses and the violence and the excusing violence at the hands of Antifa, that's not a threat.
And then if we move over to the East Coast, the University of Maryland's marching band, Dan, they're changing their playlist. They're no longer going to be allowed to play Maryland, My Maryland, which is the official state song. They're not going to be able to play that at any sporting events because of its ties to the Confederacy. Monday, the university shared that its marching band had cut this southern-leaning state song from its lineup after the deadly rallies in Charlottesville. The point of contention is this line where they say Northern scum.
Maryland, my Maryland, she is not dead, nor deaf, nor dumb. Huzzah, she spurns the northern scum. She breathes, she burns, she'll come, she'll come. Maryland, my Maryland.
That's a great song for a barbershop quartet. We need to get that barbershop quartet that's on Family Guy all the time.
Yeah, they said as part of the university's efforts to reaffirm our values. As a campus community, we're assessing the songs that are played at intercollegiate athletic events, and we are suspending the playing of Maryland, My Maryland, to evaluate if it is consistent with the values of our institution at this time. I think that they should play it, and then they should bleep Northern Scum. But that's part of the history of Maryland, and they play it every football game.
Yeah, on the flip side, here's an adult, NFL legend Jim Brown. If you're a football player, play football. If you're going to be a real activist, use your money, use your notoriety. I'm an American. I don't desecrate my flag and my national anthem. I'm not going to do anything against the flag and the national anthem. I'm going to work with those situations, but this is my country, and I'll work out the problems, but I'll do it in an intelligent manner. Jim Brown for president of Maryland University.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, the level of human suffering is enormous in Houston. How you can help coming up. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We have 65 degrees, and the commuters could be dealing with some low visibilities this morning on roadways. National Weather Service issuing a dense fog advisory. They're looking at another day of rainfall from Tropical Storm Harvey in Texas. As the region deals with catastrophic flooding, forecasters are warning that Harvey could dump as much as 15 inches of rain on parts of southeast Texas and western Louisiana today. Alvin McGuaze is disaster director for the Texas Division of the Salvation Army.
We have been planning for this for years. We understand what the challenges are, but the target keeps moving. We're seeing things that could never have anticipated when you start talking about the amount of rain that's fallen in Houston.
The death toll from Tropical Storm Harvey is at 9. President Trump highlighting the resilience of victims of Tropical Storm Harvey during a White House news briefing yesterday. The president says Americans are one family, offering thoughts, prayers, and for flood victims, and called the hurricane-turned-tropical storm a horrible incident.
My thoughts and prayers for those affected by Hurricane Harvey and the catastrophe of flooding and all of the other difficulties that they're currently going through in Houston.
Japan's prime minister sounding off this morning and speaking with President Trump after North Korea launched a missile that passed over Japan. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe saying the launch was a serious and grave threat to his country. The missile passed over the northern part of that country before breaking apart and falling into the ocean. Police are investigating an apparent murder-suicide after a woman and her young twin daughters were found dead in Joliet. The bodies discovered yesterday inside a home in the 400 block of North Reed. The Illinois Senate expected to take up a school funding overhaul that will increase aid to all of the state's more than 800 districts. The measure also provides $75 million in tax credits for those who contribute to a private school scholarship fund. Mike Montgomery tossed 7 innings of one-run ball. Cubs 6-1 winners over the Pirates. White Sox start a 3-game series with the Twins in Minnesota this evening. The news, a service of your local Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram dealer. It's the Labor Day sales event at your local Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram dealer. Get incredible deals on the award-winning lineup, but don't wait. These deals will not last long. Hurry in to see your local Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram dealer today. 6:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager is tired of watching the president get torn down.
They hate him. They hate the fact that he won. They're trying to overturn the election. That's what it's about. It's painful to live in a world that is yelling that the emperor is wearing gorgeous clothing and is naked and really suffering from pneumonia. But that's what's happening.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Home isn't just a place, it's the feeling of knowing you're safe. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Learn more at ADT.com.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, Jay, did I miss out? Have the rates gone up? The answer is no. Rates are still low, and it's a perfect time to refinance your home, especially if your mortgage rate is higher than 4.25%. If you'd like to lower your interest rate and save thousands of dollars in interest without starting over on a new 30-year loan, a Quicken Loans Yorgage is what you're looking for. With our exclusive Yorgage, you can choose a term that works best for you, anywhere from 8 to 30 years. The rate today on an 8-year Yorgage is 3.25%, APR 3.75%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 4th year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing, independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Durkin, founding partner of the Martech Group, a global market research firm based in Chicago since 1985 and a longtime customer of Signature Bank. When our business moved to our current Loop location, I recall seeing Mick O'Rourke and his 2 business partners, Brian Duncan and Kevin Bastuga, laying the foundation for Signature Bank. When Signature opened its doors in 2006, I was proud to move our accounts there and become a shareholder. Being in the consulting business, the Martech Group has a keen understanding of the value of relationships, trust, and attentiveness. Whether dealing with our U.S. practice or our international operations, Signature Bank is always there when we need them. That's why the Martech Group is proud to have Signature Bank as a valued business partner.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It is 6:36. Let's get an update right now on the roads and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. The very latest for you with Jim Talamonte.
Like it's a growing delay on eastbound 8094. Traffic is at a standstill from Indianapolis Boulevard to Grant Street. Now 2 right lanes are blocked instead of 3 after a crash involving a truck cab separating from its trailer. Westbound, the Gapers delay is from Broadway to Grant. Indiana Toll Road is fine as an alternate. Eden's inbound delays start at Niles Center. 24 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 28 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 33. Inbound Eisenhower delays start at Wolf. It is 55 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 51. Stevenson, 54 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38. The Ryan is 25 minutes from 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Traffic is the service of LifeLock. Some mornings, opening your eyes is hard. LifeLock's eyes are already open to a wide range of identity threats. Stuff you can't see by just monitoring your credit. If something happens, U.S.-based specialists can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK. Save 10%. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Patchy morning fog. Then we'll have clouds and sun in the midday. As we warm up in the afternoon, maybe a passing shower or 2, high 77. Clear skies ahead for the overnight, low 61. Currently 65. Next news coming up at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Are you sure your business is being seen online? Visit beingseen360.com to discover how being seen online can improve traffic, leads, and sales. beingseen360.com.
Don't miss Freedom Summit Chicago 2017, Saturday, November 11th, featuring Dinesh D'Souza and Oliver North. Tickets on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And obviously the human tragedy that is an ongoing challenge in Houston with the fallout from Hurricane Harvey. Some 3 feet of rain in places in the Gulf Coast area.
And they're getting harder hit this morning with 15 more inches. I mean, it's a year worth of rain in 1 week is what they're getting.
And you had Ted Cruz on MSNBC yesterday. He was at a convention center in Houston that's being used as a shelter right now, talking about what their priorities are. This is Ted Cruz in real time yesterday.
And I'll tell you right now, the highest priority still remains on the preservation of life, on high water rescues, people who are still trapped. It is still raining like crazy outside, and the flooding continues to rise. I think we're headed towards getting through this, and we're going to get through this. But right now, there's been an incredible coordination of assets, of local and state and federal assets, all working together, first responders risking their lives to pull people out of harm's way.
As well as private assets like the so-called Cajun Navy that trucked in from Louisiana. Just private citizens bringing their boats and deploying out into these waters to rescue people who are stranded.
Yeah, and so far about 6,000 people have been rescued. And it's really, I mean, there was a call to action saying, hey, anybody with a boat, please help out. And Texans have responded. And I love that about that state.
Speaking of private action and private assistance, we're pleased now to be joined by Scott Wilder. He is from Feed the Children, feedthechildren.org. He's in Dallas today, but Feed the Children has personnel on the ground in Houston, more private philanthropic help, and wanted to get that perspective from Scott. So, Scott, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's a great pleasure, Dan and Amy. Let me make one correction. Save the children.
I'm sorry.
The children. That's okay. No, it's okay.
Save the children. I'm sorry.
We're on the ground in Houston and San Antonio. Also, the convention center in Dallas is about to be opened as a mega shelter. And with people's participation, we're certainly doing what we do in 120 countries around the world and also here at home, times of crisis and disaster. And that's making sure kids are taken care of and their needs, both their physical needs and sort of just the logical, logistical things that they have to have. And then, of course, the more long-term impact, because kids, as always, suffer most in times of crisis and disaster. So we talk a little bit about, in both those categories, the practical and then the more far-reaching emotional needs.
So what's the immediate needs right now for the children in Houston and Corpus Christi and surrounding areas?
Yeah, 30,000 people displaced immediately, and FEMA is saying 500,000 are going to need some assistance as a result of Hurricane Harvey. Just something as simple as, the very first night, this all came on shore in Rockport, Texas on Friday night late. Well, by Saturday night, a bunch of people were already in shelters because they had to be. They were fleeing the storm. And that night, babies slept in cardboard boxes because there were not enough cribs. There were not enough strollers. There were not enough places like that, because the shelters are good, but they're not always the best places for kids. So Save the Children came in and provided portable cribs, still doing that, strollers, blankets, hygiene kits, something as simple as shampoo and baby soap, diapers, things like that. So that's sort of the immediate needs that are being met as kids were, really ripped away from their normal life, and kids are scared. And so we can provide those things, and that's part of the practical that's being taken care of.
So, it's trying to make sense of the damage from a distance, even with pictures, is really challenging. And I wonder if you can give us some perspective on it, too. I mean, for example, there's been stories about Joel Osteen's megachurch in Houston not being open and people being critical of that. But a spokesman for his church said, well, the problem is we're not underwater, but everything around us is, and so we're surrounded by water, so it's not accessible. And that those are the kinds of back and forth you get if you don't have an appreciation for what exactly the possible logistics on the ground are.
Yeah, it's complicated. I mean, this is not something that is new to Save the Children. For 98 years, we've done this. When there were wildfires last year in Tennessee, not only were we on the ground taking care of displaced families there and children's needs, but we were already in those counties for more than 83 years. So this is not new to Save the Children. And so, but it does get complicated. And what we know is people are having the ability to flee from Houston, San Antonio, also even mega shelters about to open in Dallas. And but say just one word about something I think moms would really appreciate, and dads. But as I've talked about this over the last couple of days, it seems to really perk up the ears of moms and dads. Providing child-safe places is really important at times like this. Child-friendly spaces are developed in every one of these shelters, and they're run by trained staff members. It gives parents a chance for the parents to have a breather and let them deal with family things that the kids don't need to know about or think about, big people things. And the kids can have a safe place to sort of decompress and not just play around, but be kids and let the work get done. It's very important for kids to be able to be safe. And as they open these mega shelters, we all have stories in our mind of what happened last time we saw something like this. If a big stadium or a convention center is turned into a mega shelter, sometimes those are not safe places for kids, so or even for adults. But these child-friendly spaces are very important as kids deal with this emotional need. You know, I was talking to Ken Lorman, our guy in D.C. for the news. And I was talking to Ken, and Ken off the air. We were doing it on Saturday when it's still Category 4. And Ken off the air said, boy, let me tell you, he said, I'm a native of Louisiana, and I was there during Hurricane Katrina. My kids were little. He said, as this storm was approaching, I was talking to my kids who are now older, and I was amazed at how that storm at that time, when they were little, impacted their lives. He said, so I'm really excited to hear about child-friendly spaces because we went through that, and families can be devastated. So today, you know, a $50 donation provides not only blankets, diapers, baby soap, portable cribs, strollers, but also make sure that there are child-friendly spaces at all of these mega shelters and anywhere Save the Children can assist. And that they're already in place. All we have to do is make sure we get more people participating.
And Scott, how can people donate? Is there a website people can go to right away?
The website is savethechildren.org/radio. Important to write /radio. So savethechildren.org/radio. Or you can call the phone number. It's toll free, 888-248-0312. 888-248-0312. 888-248-0312. I think the average gift is about $137. But our suggestion is, you know, for $50, you can get an awful lot done. So if you would want to think of a young couple with a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, like Nick and Shelby, that were driven out of their home. They have nothing. She didn't have her wedding dress. They don't have their photos. They don't have important papers, even the kids' toys. They had to just flee literally for their lives. You would think of maybe Nick and Shelby and little Sarah and Aaron, and maybe just make a $50 donation today and make a world of difference.
I wonder if you have an assessment of the planning and the response to Hurricane Harvey as, you know, someone with an organization that, you know, are really, frankly, experts in emergency response and logistics. There seem to be reports about conflicting direction from local authorities, from the mayor of Houston as compared to the governor of Texas. And if you have any kind of perspective on that matter.
Yeah, you know, it like you said, I think earlier, it can get complicated. I think now is not the time. I've been a little disappointed that politics has sort of come into this. The mayor of Houston is a Democrat. He runs that city the way a Democrat would run the city. He was elected, fairly elected, and that's the way it is. In the state of Texas, the state as a whole is conservative, so our governor is Republican. I think now is the time for us to come together. I think now is the time for us to be together and set the differences aside. This is something we can all agree on. We don't spend a lot of time thinking about it, contemplating it, maybe even praying about it. If you see somebody drowning, you don't pray for 20 minutes. You stick your hand in the water, grab them by the shirt collar, and you pull them up. And that's what we're going to do together today.
He is Scott Wilder from Save the Children, the website, savethechildren.org/radio. If you want to make a donation, Scott, you suggested a $50 donation. Appreciate your time, Scott. Thanks for all that you and Save the Children do and for joining us and giving us an opportunity and our listeners an opportunity to help out. Appreciate it.
It's my great pleasure, Dan and Amy, and thank you for the time today.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
And again, the phone number, if you want to call and make a donation, say if you're in your car and have a hands-free headset, you want to make that call, it's 888-248-0312. That's 888-248-0312. SaveTheChildren.org/radio. Today we're going to have Morning fog, otherwise some sun by this afternoon. Can't rule out a passing shower or two, a high of 77 degrees. Then tonight, clear, a low of 61. And for tomorrow, just a gorgeous summer day. Enjoy, CPS children, because you're back to school next week. It's going to be mostly sunny skies. A few high clouds, warm, a high of 80 degrees. Let's get into our alarm detection systems traffic center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Amy and Dan, we've got a big jam on eastbound 8094 from Indianapolis Boulevard to Grant Street. An earlier crash involving a truck has just cleared out of the way, so all lanes have reopened. It's still very heavy. And westbound, there is a gate-bridge delay from Broadway to Grant. Edens runs 24 minutes. Lake Cook to the Junction, outbound 21. The Kennedy, 30 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 37. The Eisenhower is heavy, 55 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 51. The Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 41 minutes. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 26 minutes. I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford, 19. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. Best ways to help flood victims in Houston. Consumer Confidence Report on tap. Amazon slashing prices at Whole Foods. Those stories next.
If you have unpaid tax debt to the IRS that you can't pay, please hear this special notice. Specially approved IRS relief programs designed to aid delinquent taxpayers are now in effect that can significantly improve your financial situation. Depending on your circumstances, you may qualify to have your tax problem resolved in your favor and may even have your back taxes reduced by thousands or eliminated entirely. A relief hotline has been established by Community Tax for you to call and see if you qualify at 800-804-7445. If you owe the IRS back taxes that you can't afford to pay, don't let the IRS trick you into thinking you have no way out. Our highly accredited tax professionals will let you know what you qualify for and how much you can save. We may be able to stop all liens, garnishments, levies, and save you thousands. Call and see if you qualify for this taxpayer relief at 800-804-7445. 800-804-7445. That's 800-804-7445. Community Tax. Who's your tax guy?
As Houston battles the raging floodwaters crippling the city, relief agencies are being overwhelmed with clothing, cases of bottled water, and other donated items piling up. Officials say the elderly, pets, and children are especially at risk in disasters. To help nonprofits like Save the Children, visit our website at srnnews.com. Economic reports we'll be following today include an update on residential home values and the latest figures on consumer confidence. On its first day running grocery acquisition Whole Foods, Amazon slashed the price of a half gallon of milk by 50 cents in New York City and ground beef by $2 a pound. Amazon is attempting to boost customer traffic at the organics target Whole Foods. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. I'm Keith Peters for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
When you have sleep apnea, traveling can be a real drag because you have to drag your big, bulky home CPAP device with you everywhere you go. But not anymore. Now you can travel easily and sleep comfortably anywhere thanks to Transcend, the world's very first mini CPAP. And right now, you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. So call now, 1-800-600-3585. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. Transcend is so incredibly small and light, you can easily fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't delay. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-600-3585. Again, that's 1-800-600-3585.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. Fascism requires the entirety of civil society to be folded into the state. The government, the arts, technology, and business become one. Therefore, intellectuals, artists, and captains of industry must be on board. It's not the banality of evil, as Hannah Arendt argued. It was not the passivity of the hoi polloi, but rather the intellectual activism of elites like Hans F.K. Gunther that gave rise to the Third Reich. So the outrageous attempt recently by CNN to tar Trump voters with the fictional banality of evil argument is properly understood as a desperate misdirection play by Antifa sympathizers. Not even liberal intellectuals who believe in Brandeis's more speech, not enforced silence formulation for a free society like Columbia's Mark Lilla or Harvard's Alan Dershowitz are given quarter. So think about the ideology and conduct of those in America who dominate academia, the arts, Fortune 500 C-suites, and social media channels. Are they Trump supporters or dissent silencers? Visit the Castro-loving Colin Kaepernick exhibit at the Smithsonian African American History Museum, and then tell me where the threat of rolling up all of civil society into a fascist state really lies.
When you purchase an alarm system, you do it for one reason above all others. You need to know something about the people or property under your care. Knowing that what matters most will be looked after by professionals when you can't be there is a comforting feeling. At Alarm Detection Systems, we've learned a great deal from our decades of service. We know how to treat customers on the phone. We know that installing quality security products using certified technicians is the only way to go. We know that same-day service and local monitoring will provide the safety and peace of mind you're looking for. You no longer have to wonder if your home or business is protected by your alarm system. Know that it is. At home or on the go, the information you seek is right in your hands. It's good to be in the know. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. That's 630-844-6300 or online at adsalarm.com. Alarm license number 127000143.
If your roof is needy, if your roof is leaky,
call Grumweedy.
If your roof isn't right after it's stormy and shingles are curly,
call Grumweedy.
If your roof is looking needy, call Crumweedy. This is Mark Olson of Crumweedy.
And I'm Greg Olson from Crumweedy. We are a third-generation family-run business. We've been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953.
You really can't do that unless you do really amazing roofs. We share the same conservative values as you, and we really want to do your roof. Here's what you can expect.
First, no high pressure. You make the choice. Whatever option you choose, count on getting a roof that lasts at a fair price.
You see, application is really the key. We follow the manufacturer's specifications so your warranty is intact. You know, a lot of companies don't do that, and that could really void your warranty.
No horror stories here. The roof you need that will fix your problems. When your roof is needy,
call Grumweedy.
For your needy roof, go to myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
When Hurricane Harvey struck Texas and the Gulf Coast over the weekend, the world turned upside down for children and families in its path. When disaster strikes, children suffer in unimaginable ways, and Save the Children is there to meet their unique needs. Even now, Save the Children is in Texas and along the Gulf Coast, making sure hurt and frightened children impacted by Hurricane Harvey get the help they need. To care for and protect children has been the mission of Save the Children for nearly 100 years, so when tragedies like Hurricane Harvey strike, they're prepared and they're on the ground for children and their families around the world and right here at home. Your $50 right now to Save the Children will deliver essential supplies for families forced to evacuate, including hygiene kits, blankets, portable cribs, and strollers. Children are counting on us. Call 888-248-0312. That's 888-248-0312. Or give online right now at savethechildren.org/radio.
Today's IT department is more than just a person fixing your computer or protecting you from viruses and hackers. It's helping people, and that's what Turnkey IT does. Real people helping your business.
Hello, my name is Phil. I am a network technician at Turnkey IT. There's not a lot of IT companies that are 24/7. Some of them are just 9 to 5, and anything after that is a charge, or they just wait until the next day to get back to you. But here, if somebody calls in after hours, we're going to jump on it and try to take care of it as soon as possible. We're extremely well organized. We have a process for everything, and we do our absolute best to take care of everyone and make them happy and do whatever it takes to keep them happy.
Take control of your business's network and important data with Turnkey IT. you'll have protection against ransomware and have rock-solid backups in place no matter what problems arise. All of their plans protect against viruses and troublesome ransomware. Visit turnkey.pro today and be secure. Turnkey.pro.
AM 560, The Answer.
Say you, say me.
Lionel Richie.
Yeah.
My ex-husband skipped the big fight to go to a Lionel Richie concert on Saturday.
He had a dream. He had an awesome dream.
I pulled his man card. But anyway, so yesterday he was trying to defend himself, and he said, Amy, you know Lionel Richie. He was with the Commodores. Do I need to say more?
Yes.
So that was his defense.
You need to continue talking. That's not good enough.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to retiring State Senator Kyle McCarter about Governor Rauner's signature on the sanctuary state legislation. That's at 7:07.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, apparent murder-suicide in Joliet involving a woman and her two daughters. We'll have breaking details on that developing story. A teen arrested in Hammond on murder and rape charges. The Bears' Cameron Meredith suffers a torn ACL. Mike Montgomery pitches the Cubs past the Pirates. White Sox take on the Twins. WIND Chicago News Time, 7.
Death amid the destruction in Texas. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The van, he was telling me that he could see it bobbing up and down. It was so deep.
Rick Saldivar's brother was able to get out as he drove into floodwater.
He was yelling at the kids to, come out the back of the van.
But they couldn't. It went under, and Saldivar's 4 grandchildren and his parents are all presumed dead, among the 14 killed by now Tropical Storm Harvey, and the aftermath as the operation to help others continues.
Trying to help these people. I'm tired, but it's worth it.
He's one of the volunteers using boats. Fox's Evan Brown is live in Houston.
Yeah, Dave, rescues are resuming. It's hard to do them at night. It puts the boat crews at risk. Evacuations are also underway again. Emergency evacuations were called last night for a number of West Houston neighborhoods near that Addicks Reservoir. It will breach this morning.
Leave your house at this time.
Jeff Linder with the county's flood control authority. To the south, Fort Bend County, evacuations were mandated in short order last night due to the rapid rise of the Brazos River, which won't crest for days yet, Dave.
Now, Evan, there's also been flooding in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Hundreds were rescued from their homes last night as the rain just keeps on falling. Some areas have had 40 inches.
It's relentless rains, and I, for one, have never seen amounts like this over such a large area.
National Weather Service forecaster Bruce Sullivan. Tropical Storm Harvey is going to hit the coast again tomorrow, moving into Louisiana. President Trump will leave the White House later this hour and head to Texas. He'll see Harvey's damage in Corpus Christi and monitor the storm response in Austin. The president spoke last night with Japan's prime minister after North Korea's latest missile launch over Japan, agreeing it's a grave threat, and the two plan to increase the pressure on North Korea to stop the nuclear and missile tests. Fox News, fair and balanced.
66 degrees this morning, winds from the northwest at 3, cloudy skies at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Commuters dealing with low visibility on some roadways this morning as the National Weather Service issues a dense fog advisory until 9 a.m. Police are investigating an apparent murder-suicide after a woman and her young twin daughters were found dead in Joliet. Authorities say the bodies were discovered yesterday inside a home in the 400 block of North Reed. The Illinois Senate expected to take up a school funding overhaul that will increase aid to all of the state's more than 800 districts. Lawmakers are set to convene later today to vote on that measure, which the Illinois House approved late on Monday. Well, Republican Governor Bruce Rauner has said he will sign that bill. Charges are pending against a 15-year-old boy accused of murder and 2 rapes in Hammond, Indiana. Police yesterday saying the teen sexually assaulted a 14-year-old girl last month and a woman earlier this month. He is also accused of killing a woman found stabbed to death last week. The boy is currently being held in the Lake County Juvenile Detention Center in Crown Point. A federal jury has convicted a Chicago police officer of firing shots into a car full of teens, wounding 2. The jury in Chicago returning with a verdict at Marco Pirano's trial Monday, just hours after beginning deliberations.
Vast majority of Chicago police officers do their job with vigilance
and with respect for the constitutional rights of the citizens that they protect. In this situation, that's not what Marco Proano did.
Proano faces a maximum 10 years in prison on each of 2 counts. Mike Montgomery tossed 7+ innings of 1-run ball. Cubs over the Pirates 6-1. White Sox start a 3-game series with the Twins in Minnesota this evening. Bears head coach John Fox confirming wideout Cameron Meredith has a torn ACL. The news, a service of the Chicago Department of Family and Support Services. Want a place that nurtures the growth of you and your child? At Chicago Early Learning preschool programs, parents and children flourish. Chicago Early Learning offers safe, quality early education programs at 800 locations. ChicagoEarlyLearning.org or 312-229-1690. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
See filmmaker and the best-selling author of Hillary's America, Dinesh D'Souza, on Saturday, November 11th at Freedom Summit 2017 at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca. He'll be appearing with Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. Also appearing, radio talk show host Larry Elder, Joe Walsh, Dan Proft, and Amy Jacobson. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Best Dental Group.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. Whether you're at home, your business, or online, ADT helps keep you safe with security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling. ADT, home, safe home.
Can you mow a yard, clean a house, haul off some junk? Then you can make extra money with the Tackle app. Tackle is an amazing new app that connects people who can perform small jobs with customers who need them done. Signing up is easy, so become a Tackle provider today. Go to Tackle.com to join. That's TAKL.com. As a Tackle provider, you can be your own boss, set your own hours, and make great money. Go to TAKL.com today.
7:06. Check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the Boardman, 8094 eastbound, we see stop-and-go traffic from Indianapolis Boulevard to Grant after an earlier crash. Westbound, it's heavy Broadway to Grant. Eden's inbound, 26 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 24. The Kennedy is 36 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 16 from Montrose, 15 in the Express. Outbound, 48 minutes to O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower, delays start at St. Charles. Hour and 5 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 50 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 52, make that 53 minutes to Thorndale on the inbound Stevenson. An hour and 5 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 41 minutes. Bryan is 25 minutes from 95th to the Loop. Northbound Tri-State. Heavy from 115th to LaGrange Road. From the Stevenson to 47th. And from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Adams Tollway heavy from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. Veterans Memorial slow from 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Michael Stack.
Today, intervals of sun and clouds with a passing shower or two. High 77, clear skies for tonight, low 61. Wednesday, sunshine and a couple clouds, high 80. A passing shower early, otherwise intervals of sun and clouds. Thursday, high 73. I'm Michael Stack on AM 560, The Answer.
66 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So a lot of action in state government. Yesterday, Governor Rauner signed legislation called the Trust Act, which is being treated by many as sanctuary state legislation, creating a sanctuary state in Illinois where you have local law enforcement not complying with immigration detainer requests. The Department of Justice, through a spokesman, responded to the governor's signature on this legislation that was touted as bipartisan. Of the 69 members of the House and Senate that are Republican combined, five Republican senators voted for it. One House member did. So I'm not sure. There was a little bit of Republican crossover. And by the way, 3 of those individuals have already announced their retirements. But I wouldn't exactly call that overwhelmingly bipartisan. But anyway, Department of Justice, through a spokesman, responded to Rauner's decision, saying, as the Attorney General has said, when cities and states refuse to help enforce immigration laws, our nation is less safe. Failure to deport aliens who are convicted for criminal offenses puts whole communities at risk, especially immigrant communities and very sanctuary jurisdictions that seek to protect the perpetrators. For more on this topic and its implications, both in terms of policy and politics, with the 2018 election cycle ramping up, we're pleased to be joined by State Senator Kyle McCarter. He's a Republican from Metro East area down by St. Louis, who is retiring this term. You can catch a full long-form interview that I did with Senator McCarter a couple weeks back at upstream-ideas.com as part of our Against the Current series. Senator McCarter, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan Amy, for having me on.
So you voted against the sanctuary state legislation as a state senator. What was your reaction to the governor's decision to sign it yesterday?
Well, this is not just bad policy. I think it's bad politics, and I think I'm concerned about my party. I'm concerned about the brand being tainted. If not tainted, at least confused. And I think this is going to have effect in the next election. I think, there was in the congressional district around me, 15, 33 counties, the majority of the people, over 70%, voted for President Trump. And his immigration policy was one of those reasons they voted for him. And to do an about-face like this and defy federal law, defy the Attorney General, the President himself, and now the voters, I think this is going to have a negative effect on the governor's election.
Well, do you think that Governor Rauner is doing this to reach out to undecided Democratic voters?
That's all I can. That's the only reason I can imagine that he's doing this. But I don't believe it's going to net out in his favor, because there are a lot of people, and I can speak for Southern Illinois, who feel betrayed by this. And this is not the only, this is not the one bill that he has, he signed that people are upset about. There's others. There's the notification bill for abortion providers, which is being challenged in court. I mean, there's the birth certificate bill. There's the voter bill. And there's a number of things that people are upset about, but this may have just been the final straw.
With respect to the sanctuary state legislation, one of the defenses that's used by the Republican Party and the governor, working in conjunction with each other, is that, law enforcement's behind this. Local law enforcement. Look at all these sheriffs and look at all these representatives of police departments that are supportive of this. This is something that's responding to local law enforcement.
Well, I checked the record, and there was only one group, and that was the chiefs of police, that actually signed a slip in favor of this bill. The others were neutral. Now, this is what happens in politics in Illinois. They throw a 100 to 200-page bill on the table with all kinds of junk in it they know that will never happen. And these groups show up and they say, "Oh my God, we got to stop this." And they say, "Well, we'll take all this out as long as you take away your opposition." It's not that they're not opposed. It's not that they think this is a good bill now. They know it's not, but it was the best that they could get. And these same organizations have to go through the appropriation process. So they can, the legislature can actually retaliate against the chiefs, against the state police, because they're the ones that make their budget. And so they're not going to come out against this. I think everyone needs to go right back to what the simple law read, and that is that we are mandating that our law enforcement not adhere to federal law. And I understand there's all kinds of arguments about what it's not, but we have to get back to what it really is. And essentially what this does is make Illinois a less safe place for the citizens.
But Governor Rauner is spinning it as, it's a way for people who are here illegally to call 911 and feel safe that they're not going to be deported. Are you buying that argument at all?
Not whatsoever. Not whatsoever. It's smoke. It's you said it. I mean, he's spinning. He's spinning this to somehow dupe the voters that have elected him to believe that he's done something good for them. It's not good for them, and I think the voters are smart enough to figure this out.
You mentioned a number of other pieces of legislation he signed, including recently the automatic voter registration bill, the transgender birth certificate bill, the conscience bill that he essentially the right of conscience bill that he didn't support previously a year ago, Senate Bill 1564. They're still pending HB 40, which would be Medicaid funding of abortion. He's committed to to veto that, but there's more talk than I've ever heard inside Republican circles about Governor Rauner's political future and whether or not he should face a primary challenge. What do you think about that?
Well, I think primaries are good. I think primaries make candidates better. It makes them focused on what they stand for, and it's a matter of transparency. We can actually find out what a candidate's like in a primary. So I think I'm for him. I think if it makes him better, maybe that's a good thing. The reality of it is you're running against a very wealthy man with an incumbent in the state. I'm not sure it's practical. So I think you've got to judge candidates on the stances that they take, the bills they support, and that's why I know I'm being called a bad Republican for questioning some of the governor's decisions, but I think it's the right thing to do. And it's better for him, for us to voice our opinion and let him know where we stand.
Well, besides Dan Proft, though, who else would you primary against Governor Rauner? I mean, is there anybody out there chomping at the bit who wants to take him on?
I don't know of anybody. I mean, there's talk of Sam McCann that he might run.
State senator from what we talked about, right?
State senator, yeah, Sam McCann. He's got his own, he's got his own reasons. I'm not up for the job. I mean, it's just. It's a very tough spot that we find ourselves in. And I think we're going to have to really do some soul searching here immediately as to how the Republican Party can be successful in this state. And it doesn't help when Governor Rauner appears to be the best Republican governor that the Democrats have ever had. Again, that taints our brand with the decisions that he has been making.
The best Republican Democrats ever had. Interesting. Speaking of that, I mean, I know you're retiring from the state Senate. You're the rare politician actually honoring his term limit pledge, by the way, should be noted. But are you concerned at all with the Republicans in the superminority in the Senate, with the Republicans just getting out of the superminority last cycle in the House, but still in a decided minority, that there will be down ballot drag from the governor and it will preclude the opportunity to pick up seats that could be picked up in the midterms?
Absolutely, because the message is confusing. I mean, it's I've always tried to look at politics like it was pure marketing, and when it comes to messaging, you can't confuse your audience. And when you've got a governor who is appearing as though he's a Democrat, and you've got Republicans that are looking to the Republican platform, that's what attracted them there in the first place. I think there's a lot of confusion, and it's very difficult to get synergy, get momentum, and connect from the top to the bottom of the ticket. And so I'm concerned about that.
When Governor Rauner ran, and for much of the last 2.5 years, he's talked about turning around, shaking up Springfield and turning around Illinois, kind of his version of drain the swamp, if you will. And yet we did this story, one of the outlets that I started, Prairie State Wire, about a lobbyist named Nancy Kimmey. She was a long-time inside political player. She was with Judy Bar-Topinka for decades. Since leaving Judy Bar-Topinka's office as comptroller after Topinka unfortunately passed away to become a lobbyist, she has generated $16.88 billion in state contracts for her clients.
Wow.
And she was working out of the governor's office under the previous regime that after the chief of staff he fired, Rich Goldberg, Mike Zolnarevich, that Ed Murphy, that whole team that was Mike Mahoney, all those people that were up there as part of Governor Rauner's team of superstars that left him when Goldberg was fired as one of the most unpopular governors in the country. Left him with a lot of political capital expended to no particular ends. And we find out that Nancy Kimmey, who was essentially a political mentor of both Goldberg and Mike Zolnarevich, has amassed $17 billion in state contracts for her many and varied clients. You can check out all her clients and their contracts at prairiestatewire.com, while working essentially out of the governor's office. How do you respond to that? I mean, you've been down in Springfield for a long time, so you understand the, as John Cass likes to call it, the bipartisan combine and the men and women of Always on the Rail that are enriching themselves thanks to the benefits of, thanks to the co-opting of both sides of the aisle, and oftentimes to the detriment of Illinois families and taxpayers. So, your response to this and the culture of corruption in Illinois that Rauner ran against, it seems to be alive and well.
Yeah, unfortunately, and not surprisingly, Republicans dwell in the Illinois swamp as well. It's not just a home for Democrats. And, cultures of corruption don't change overnight. I mean, that's no culture does. But the only typically what happens when it does change is that you have spectacular principal leaders, and it's those leaders that stand strong that can really move the culture in the right direction. And so I think that's why it's important right now for the governor to perform well and to make decisions based on principle. And so, I asked the director one time during this administration if there was a place to provide a job for a man that had been unjustly treated by Blagojevich, and one of the best workers we had in the state. And he told me that he couldn't do anything about that, but I should go to the firm of Nancy Kimmey. And I thought that was just a little odd.
So the agency director
I knew the reality of it.
Yeah, the agency director couldn't do anything about it, but the shadow government could if you wanted to enlist them at a price.
Exactly. And that is that's disappointing, and that just shows you the depth of this culture of corruption.
Only in Illinois.
I know we say that
California,
like it's we say that like it's a joke, like, oh, that's part of our brand, this culture of corruption. It's like how we romanticize Al Capone and the mob. This is romantic stuff, is it? Do you feel like you're being romanced, Illinois families? Do you feel like it? I don't. Kyle, before we let you go, what happens on that school funding compromise bill in the Senate today?
I suspect it. I suspect it will pass. I think it's. We don't have the option or the leverage of running the override bill to like the House did, to shake them back into reality. So I think most likely it's going to pass. I have to admit that I'm still on the fence with it. There's good and bad in this. There's a lot of things I like, a lot of things I don't like. But I do believe we've got to move forward. I've got a problem with this whole funding, evidence-based funding formula. I think it's going to cost the Illinois taxpayers more money, and I think it might lead to the next tax increase, and I just don't want to be a part of that. So, tough decision ahead of me today.
All right. He is State Senator Kyle McCarter, Republican from down Metro East Way near St. Louis. Kyle, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan, and having me on.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Fog this morning, low visibility, that's for sure. But by this afternoon, we'll have some clouds and sun. Can't rule out a passing shower or two, a high of 77 degrees. Tonight, clear, a low of 61. And for Wednesday, just a wonderful day. Mostly sunny skies, warmer, a high near 80. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. On Chicago's north side, Lakeshore Drive, northbound. It's heavy. North Avenue to Fullerton. A crash is blocking the exit to Fullerton, but southbound things are okay. 8094 still has residual delays on the eastbound side from around Grant Street. There was an earlier crash, and then farther east, it's slow from Central to the Indiana Toll Road. Westbound slow, Grant to Klein. Edens is 28 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 32. Kennedy, 42 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 55. Eisenhower, an hour and 10 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes. 3:55 to the drive. Ryan, 25 minutes. 95th to the loop. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
You know you secretly want to be a rock star. Well, ChicagoRadioDeals.com can put you one step closer to living out your dream with these deals from our good friends at Midlothian Music. You can bang on the drums all day with your own Tamara Imperial Star 5-piece drum kit. That includes cymbals, stands, and a throne for only $350. That's a $700 value. Your neighbors will love you. Pick your color that best matches your personality. Hey, create your own sound with a digital piano, which feels and sounds like a real piano. This keyboard is also $350 and comes with a matching stand. Or play your favorite riff on a Taylor mahogany and spruce Grand Auditorium acoustic electric guitar. This full-size handmade instrument is a gorgeous guitar, which retails for about $1,000 bucks, but it's half the price at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Midlothian Music is dedicated to bringing you the best selection of American-made, handcrafted instruments. Plus, you will experience the best customer service with every purchase. Find out all these rockin' deals and more only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Attention, it is illegal to text and drive. So if you're experiencing hair loss and you want a permanent solution, please pull over now, because an incredible offer that could give you your hair back is just one text away. Bosley is America's #1 hair restoration expert, always pioneering the latest technology. And now we're giving everyone who texts GROW to 543-543. An absolutely free information kit that reveals just how easy and affordable this permanent solution really is. Don't wait. When you text GROW to 543-543, we'll also give you a gift card for $250 off. Millions of men and women have come to Bosley for a permanent solution to hair loss. So pull over now and see for yourself how great your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit. Text GROW to 543-543. Plus, get a free gift card. This amazing offer is just one text away. GROW to 543-543.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. We all know increasing revenue's tough, but did you know that 100% of main sources of income fail? The odds are 100% that your current main source of income will someday no longer exist. 439 of 1955's original Fortune 500 are no longer around, yet their industries and even their product lines still thrive. What happened to these companies? Simple. They didn't believe that 100% of main sources of income fail. They never added a second revenue model. For years, my friends at Income Store have helped both households and businesses build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Go to IncomeStore.com today. That's IncomeStore.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Oh, I had my joints all ached. My sciatic nerve was really bad. Like 10 hours, my eyes were so tired and heavy and almost burning. And then when I woke up in the morning, there was this nagging pain. I mean, it hurt to open them. And just in a week, like, I don't have the nagging pain anymore. My joints stopped hurting, and I'm in wood season. I'm lugging wood right now, and I'm not hurting. So that's, like, amazing for me. I'm usually really suffering. It's pretty effective. And so now, like I said, my husband and I are both taking it, and he even said his joints aren't aching as much, and he's feeling better.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
We're never going to meet these deadlines.
We need to staff up, and fast.
How are we going to find the number of people and the quality of work we need?
I've already made calls to several industrial staffing companies, and I think ClearStaff is the best choice and right in our budget.
Keep talking. Tell me more.
ClearStaff provides a realistic full staffing plan and a live customer service rep to take your calls 24/7. This gives you the assurance that any staffing issue will get resolved quickly. Every manager knows that communication is the key. Short staff and call-offs are unpredictable, but with ClearStaff's responsive customer service team, they can take appropriate measure to get you the people you need to get your job done. The labor market is very tight right now. ClearStaff can provide current data for any area in the greater Chicago market. For larger companies, they can also provide on-site supervision and web-based time and attendance systems. ClearStaff.net is an industrial-strength staffing provider. Staff up today at ClearStaff.net. That's ClearStaff.net.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Should Trump shut down the government? You know, quote unquote shut down. You know what I mean by that. That's D.C. speak for 81% of the government staying operational and federal workers, non-essential federal workers, getting a temporary furlough with back pay. That's what I mean by shutdown. But should he do that over border wall funding at 737?
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Outside, 66 degrees. Commuters dealing with low visibility this morning in parts of Chicagoland. National Weather Service issuing a dense fog advisory until 9 a.m. It's been another night of misery and uncertainty in America's fourth largest city. Parts of Houston remain underwater. Tropical storm Harvey pounding the area with rain for days now. The storm is not finished. Joseph King, his wife and young child forced to flee their home overnight.
We've lost everything, so we're going to see.
The heavy rains of Tropical Storm Harvey moving into South Louisiana, and the potential for significant flooding there stretches from Cameron Parish to the city of New Orleans. President Trump expects Congress to move quickly to approve Harvey disaster relief.
Recovery will be a long and difficult road, and the federal government stands ready, willing, and able to support that effort.
During a White House news briefing, the president says he will be traveling to the Texas Gulf Coast to ensure the state has everything it needs. Police are investigating an apparent murder-suicide after a woman and her young twin daughters were found dead in Joliet. Bodies were discovered yesterday inside a home in the 400 block of North Reed Street. The Illinois Senate expected to take up the school funding overhaul that will increase aid to most of the state's more than 800 school districts. Lawmakers are set to convene to vote on that measure later today, which the Illinois House approved late on Monday. Teachers' unions oppose portions of that new funding measure. A trial date has been set for October 2019 in the lawsuit brought by a former Illinois prosecutor who was acquitted in the 2006 death of his first wife. The Quincy Herald-Whig reporting this morning that a court filing says Curtis Lovelace's case against the city of Quincy, police, Adams County, and 2 county officials will begin in 2019. A federal jury convicts a Chicago police officer of firing shots into a car full of teenagers in 2013, wounding 2. The jury returning a quick verdict at Marco Perano's trial on Monday. Mike Montgomery led the Cubs over the Pirates with a 6-1 win, tossing 7+ innings of 1-run ball. Sox meet up with the Twins for 3 games beginning this evening at Target Field. The news service of LifeLock. Some mornings opening your eyes is hard, but LifeLock's eyes are already open to a wide range of identity threats. Stuff you can't see by just monitoring your credit. If something happens, U.S.-based specialists can work to fix it. Go to lifelock.com, promo code RISK, save 10%. 7:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager is tired of watching the president get torn down.
They hate him. They hate the fact that he won. They're trying to overturn the election. That's what it's about. It's painful to live in a world that is yelling that the emperor is wearing gorgeous clothing and is naked and really suffering from pneumonia. But that's what's happening.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
And finally, here's a way you can save time. Use Spot Hero anytime you park downtown. First-time users can enter promo code CITY for $10 off. Spot Hero. Park smarter.
Are you facing foreclosure, been foreclosed upon, in a bad modification, or just stuck in a bad mortgage? Well, we may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. We defend foreclosure actions. We bring claims against the banks and the servicers for wrongful foreclosure and other violations of mortgage servicing regulations. And we help people negotiate modifications of their existing mortgages, often including principal reductions. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, and advice regarding your options.
Hi, this is Rayanne from Lou Bridges & Associates. I am one of the loan modification processors here, and if you are in need of any additional information in regard to a loan modification, please contact the office.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
7:35. Let's get a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound heavy starting at Niles Center. 28 minutes like Cook to Montrose, outbound 32. The Kennedy, 42 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 55. The Eisenhower's an hour and 10 minutes from Thorndale to the post office, outbound 52 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42 minutes. Ryan, 24 minutes from 95th to downtown. I-57, 27 minutes. I-80 to the Merge, Bishop 432. Lakeshore Drive southbound, heavy Irving Park to Fullerton, and northbound North Avenue to Fullerton with crash blocking the exit. Southbound Tri-States, though, Washington to Plain. Northbound jammed Harlem to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Traffic is a service of Americash Loans. Need cash? Americash Loans offers loans up to $4,000. Visit one of their 35 Chicagoland locations today, or apply online at americashloans.net for instant pre-approval and funds as fast as the next day. Fast, friendly, convenient. Americash Loans. Your money, your choice. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Clouds and sun today with a passing shower, high of 77. Currently 66 degrees. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Are you sure your business is being seen online? Visit beingseen360.com to discover how being seen online can improve traffic, leads, and sales. beingseen360.com.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and
a little change of heart.
Yeah, Joel Osteen's church was surrounded by water, according to his spokesman. That's why it wasn't being made available as a shelter, even though there's a convention center right nearby in Houston that is being made is being used as a shelter. And so Osteen was getting some criticism.
Oh, yeah, and getting a ton of social media flack for not opening the doors of the church to the victims of Hurricane Harvey, to his parishioners. Well, they've had an about face. They said, never closed our doors. We will continue to be a distribution center for those in need. We are prepared to house people once the shelters have reached capacity. So and they also tweeted out a picture of some air mattresses, really nice ones too, that they laid down in the church.
Maybe Osteen parted the waters that were surrounding the church.
So Lakewood will be of value to the community in the aftermath of this storm and helping our fellow citizens rebuild their lives.
All right.
He's one of the richest men in Houston. So.
Back to the Richest man in Houston.
Joel Osteen is.
What's his net worth?
You
have no idea, but he's one of the richest men in Houston.
That's what when I watched the 2020 segment on Joel Osteen.
Okay.
He's. All right, you stand by there, Prof. Poo. I'll get you that number, his net worth.
Do the research before you make the claim.
Well, no. That's
he's
one of the
idea.
richest men in Houston.
Okay. Well, I want to know what his net worth is, because if you're going to make a claim, you should be able to back it up with data. Meanwhile, President Trump was backing up the claims that he made during his campaign yesterday in his press avail with the Finnish president, where he took questions on a range of issues, from the Arpaio pardon to his response to Hurricane Harvey. He's on the ground today, or will be in Corpus Christi. And also on funding the border wall.
$56 million.
Big, beautiful wall. Not even close. Big, beautiful wall. And whether or not Mexico is going to pay for it, and whether or not he is willing to go to the mat with congressional Republicans with respect to the budget if they don't include $1.5 billion for border wall construction. Here's what the president had to say.
Yes, it will. One way or the other, Mexico is going to pay for the wall. That's right. It
sir,
may be through reimbursement, but one way or the other, Mexico will pay for the wall. We're right now negotiating NAFTA. In my opinion, Mexico has been very difficult, as they should be. Why wouldn't they be? They had a sweetheart deal for so many years. It's one of the great deals of all time for them, one of the worst trade deals ever signed. I guarantee you, Mr. President, Finland would never have signed NAFTA with Russia or whoever you wanted. This is not a deal that you would want to sign. This is not a deal that Finland would know about. NAFTA is one of the worst trade deals ever signed at any time, anywhere in the world. And I can understand why Mexico is being difficult, because why wouldn't they be? They've had it their way. But no, Mexico will pay for the wall. It may be through reimbursement. We need the wall very badly. As you know, Mexico has a tremendous crime problem, tremendous, one of the number 2 or 3 in the world. And that's another reason we need it. And just to add on, tremendous drugs are pouring into the United States at levels that nobody's ever seen before. This happened over the last 3 to 4 years in particular. The wall will stop much of the drugs from pouring into this country and poisoning our youth. So we need the wall. It's imperative. We may fund it through the United States, but ultimately Mexico will pay for the wall.
All right. He's said he's committed to that proposition. One way or the other, Mexico is going to pay for the wall, either through NAFTA negotiations and renegotiations and reimbursements, or through congressional funding. So maybe he doesn't go to the mat on this with respect to a budget showdown. Maybe he does it through NAFTA renegotiation, and ultimately that be presented for ratification by Congress as well. So 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Are you satisfied that Trump is going to live up to his promise on border wall funding one way or the other, as he suggested? One way or the other.
It's not going to matter. Go build a wall. Go waste taxpayer dollars. Mexico is not going to pay for something that they don't want. And you build a wall, they'll dig a tunnel. I mean, they just busted a huge tunnel that was being used in Tijuana, where they got 32 people. 5 of them were from China, not even from Mexico. They came over. So it's not going to stop people that are trying to get into this country.
So should we take down the walls, the borders that exist right now?
No, I mean, they're there for a purpose, to flow people in and out, because people come into the States from Mexico every single day to buy goods, and then they go back to Mexico, or to go to school or go to the hospital, whatever they need to do. But I'm just saying that Mexico is not going, he's living in a fantasy world if he thinks Mexico is going to pay for it.
Well, let's take one issue at a time.
Yes.
Is there a difference between something being totally fail-safe and something still being somewhat effective? In other words, could you have a wall that discourages and prevents some illegal crossings?
That's already happening.
But it's
because even talk of the wall, illegal immigration is down 70%, according to the Trump administration, because even the threat of building a wall and parts where there's not a wall built.
So I'm confused. Does a wall serve a purpose, or doesn't it serve a purpose?
Metaphorically, yes, it could serve a purpose.
Only a metaphoric wall serves a purpose. An actual wall doesn't.
They're going to try and get their drugs over. They're even using drones now to drop drugs in empty parking lots. I'm just saying that if they're determined to get over here, they're going to get over here.
So, but what is your position? Should we have a wall
I
or
don't
should we
think
take
should
it down?
No.
We should take the barrier down.
No, I don't want to take the barriers down.
Why
They're already
not?
in place.
Why not?
Because that helps with the flow of traffic and people going in and out of Mexico,
What are
whether
you
it be
talking
Nogales
about?
or Tijuana.
There's not a flow of traffic in where there's a border, where there's no
where there's no
population.
Right.
So why don't we take those down? According to you, we should just have a metaphoric wall, other than at the border crossings where there are border agents that are allowing Metamoros over the border, where you're just allowing traffic in and out, those checkpoints. But otherwise, we should take all the walls down. We should just have those checkpoints. Is that right?
There's no wall where people aren't trying to cross over.
So
what are you asking me?
Okay, let me try this one more time.
Okay, and try to be a little less condescending, but what are you asking me?
I'm not going to be less condescending, and I'll ask the question again and try to answer it then, and I won't be so condescending. Do you want a wall or not? You want a metaphoric wall, but we should keep the wall. But we shouldn't keep the wall because we only want it to be a metaphor. Which is it?
Where there's a wall in place, keep those walls.
Why? Why?
Why keep a wall up near the Zaragoza Bridge in El Paso or in Tijuana?
Why? I thought we just want a metaphoric wall.
No.
And we don't want any more walls.
I don't want to build any more walls because there's even parts along the Texas-Mexican border that can't sustain a wall because they're marshy areas.
I appreciate that you're a de facto member of the Army Corps of Engineers. That's not the issue, is the physical ability to construct a barrier at a particular location along 1,800 miles of border. You want a metaphoric wall, except you want to keep the walls. You want to keep the walls, except you don't want to build any more walls. I'm confused about the principle. Do you want a barrier that prevents illegal crossings, or do you not? Because why would you want some wall but not other wall? What's the difference?
I'm saying the walls that are already in place. I don't want to waste taxpayers' money because Mexico's not going to pay for it anyway to build walls in areas where they're not needed.
Well, how do you know they're not needed? How do you know? These walls that exist are needed, and you're fine with spending taxpayer dollars for that, but you're not fine with spending taxpayer dollars for where there isn't a barrier to entry.
What do you want? What do you think is prudent? What do you want to do? What do you want President Trump to do?
I think we should have Congress. I think that fences make good neighbors, and I think we should have a barrier to entrance to this country where we have problems. And so I think it should be as impenetrable as possible. Of course, it's not going to be fail-safe. Of course, there's going to be illegal crossings. Of course, there's going to be problems. Yeah. Nothing is fail-safe. That's not the issue. And $1.4 billion in a $4 trillion budget, now you're talking about wasting taxpayer dollars? This is one of the primary responsibilities of the federal government, of every government, at any level. Provide for the physical security of your constituents. That's job one. So many other things the government does, they have no business doing. There's no constitutional mandate. And they've demonstrated, even when there is, that they're not particularly good at it. But physical security of your citizens, that is priority one. Provide for the common defense. Does that phrase sound familiar? So this whole kind of, the wall that exists is fine, but don't build any more. But the wall that exists is fine because it prevents illegal crossings, but I don't want to prevent more illegal crossings. I don't want to understand what kind of sense that makes. And by the way, whether or not Mexico pays for it directly or indirectly, per the terms of NAFTA, he could force them to de facto pay for it. So the idea that this is all fantasy, I don't subscribe to at all. You can't extract concessions out of Mexico. The importance that, Mexico, look, I'm a free trader, so I don't even like the direction he's going with more protectionist trade policies. But that being said, you don't think we can extract our importance as a trading partner to Mexico? You don't think we can extract concessions from them that would de facto finance that wall or more wall construction, since, as we've pointed out ad nauseum now, there are already barriers on the border? I don't understand. So that's my question with the Democrats. You don't want a wall. You demagogue the wall. So take down the existing barriers then, because we don't want any walls. We don't want any barriers. Which is it? Vince in Hinsdale, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, Vince. Vince in Hinsdale. Yes. Go ahead.
Good morning, my friend. Listen, Dan, you're right on the money. And Amy, listen, I'm a big fan of yours, but Amy, listen, as we speak, they're wasting our tax dollars. But he's already reduced the coming over from Mexico. This wall is mental for these people. They'll never stop. We know that. You'll never stop all of them, but it will help to reduce it. And that's why President Trump has to do what he's doing. Otherwise, no, believe me, you're both right on. But the tax dollars, please. Right?
Thanks.
You don't want to use off how much tax dollars get wasted.
Thanks for the call, Vince. Appreciate it. Lucy on the south side.
Yes, good morning, Dan, Amy. Amy, no offense, but this ignorance is mind-boggling. So what are you saying? So if my house has 3 doors with locks and 2 of them don't have locks, don't bother to put 2 locks on the other doors that don't have them to protect my house, my safety? We are paying, the American people, you say the Mexican government isn't going to pay for this wall, but the American people are paying for the entitlement programs that these illegals are using in our country. How about that? How does that affect us?
Thanks for the call, Lucy. And then those tunnels, it's easy for El Chapo to build tunnels. It's more difficult for your rank and file person that wants to come here illegally to do it. It takes time and resources.
No, it does. And that tunnel in Tijuana that they just, captured 32 people trying to sneak into this country, that's been there for a long time. And there's many other tunnels that are probably being built right now as we speak.
Yeah, I mean,
but you're right. Nothing's foolproof.
Yeah. So, but the idea is to get better.
Right.
Be better. You don't expect 100%. 100% is not achievable, but you can be better. You can be better than what we're doing now when you got one political party saying open borders, essentially, and frankly, some in the Republican Party, too. Ray in Milwaukee.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for taking my call. So my point is, there are better ways to minimize illegal immigration, instead of just walls. So the first point is, Mr. Trump himself said, there is a drug problem. So we are able to bomb here and there and across the world, but we are not able to take care of a drug problem, across the border. That seems really hard. So we can spend a lot of money and take out drug lords or the fields. So why not?
Okay, Ray, thanks for the call. I don't know that. I think you're conflating a couple of issues. No one is advocating build a wall and all our problems are solved. Drugs go away. Illegal immigration ends, as we've talked about. For 40% of illegal immigration is people
overstay their visas.
Right.
Yeah.
So it comes to the airports.
But if we're going to build a wall, we're so secure. Why? Are you for building a wall between us and Canada?
It's not. We don't have a border problem with Canada like we do.
Yes, according the story I saw on NBC, a lot of people, that Muslims are coming in through the Canadian-U.S. border.
Stop watching NBC. There's the solution to that problem. In terms of the actual problems, no one is saying a wall or a barrier at the border where there isn't one is a panacea. And we're going to talk, by the way, to the psychology department chair at Columbia University as part of our Criminal Justice Week at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour about the war on drugs and sentencing and all of the associated drug war-related laws. That's part of this topic, but no one is suggesting, Ray, what you're suggesting, that this wall and then we, wipe our hands and that's all done. Nobody's saying that. Jane in Burr Ridge.
Yeah, I just wanted to build on what the previous lady said about the cost of all this. And all immigrant-headed households, legal and illegal, only 26% of them will not need government funding. In other words, 74%, 3 out of 4, need to be funded by the government to have, all of our welfare programs. And that does not include the education of their minor children. I mean, 100% of them are probably using that. So that's a huge number.
Thanks for the call, Jane. It's one of the suggestions I made is have people, they want to expedite their emigration to this country, even on a temporary basis, waive off welfare state benefits. Mike in Park Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Amy, don't let Dan claim that he's a free trader if he wants to build a wall. Free trade means less government, not big government central planning.
Mike, thanks for the call, Mike. Those two things, what you just said makes no sense. In other words, I don't want government in the mercantilist business of picking winners and losers. I don't want tariffs. the free movement of goods and services across borders. Not vetting people who are coming into this country. That's not inconsistent with free. Vetting people, I should say, coming into this country is not inconsistent with free trade. That's a specious argument. Jim and Joliet.
Hey, Dan and Amy, how are you?
Good.
Good. Yeah, I just want to let you know. Well, first of all, one way to get Mexico and actually all of the South American countries to pay for this is to do a very simple thing. Just add a fee onto the flights going in and out of those countries. That's what we do for major airport renovation projects, for instance. And speaking of such things, the wall, I've been in the construction field now for several years, and building the wall is not that difficult. You know, they have to say, well, we're building some of it in swamp. Well, so what? You know, you just you just pour caissons, you put it down to bedrock. There's bedrock under the swamp. There's bedrock under the ocean. So you just hammer down to whatever you need to hammer down to and put your base down there. And the wall's relatively light. It doesn't really weigh that much compared to some other major things like runways or buildings or whatnot. It's not that difficult. It really isn't.
Thanks for the call, Jim.
A lot of builders and structural engineers calling in today.
Yeah, we need the wall from Game of Thrones, and only Dragonfire can take it down.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When you have sleep apnea, traveling can be a real drag because you have to drag your big, bulky home CPAP device with you everywhere you go. But not anymore. Now you can travel easily and sleep comfortably anywhere thanks to Transcend, the world's very first mini CPAP. And right now, you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. So call now, 1-800-600-3585. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. Transcend is so incredibly small and light, you can easily fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't delay. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-600-3585. Again, that's 1-800-600-3585.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
If you're young and healthy, you don't need life insurance, right? Yeah, that's what I used to think too, until my brother died at 38. Joe left his wife with 2 kids, a mortgage, and a stack of bills she couldn't pay. Mary had to sell the house and move everybody into this tiny 2-bedroom apartment just to make ends meet. I never want to do that to my wife, so I got life insurance. I called AIG Direct and was really surprised how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. Listen, if you have a family, you should seriously think about getting life insurance. You'll feel a lot better having it, trust me.
Call AIG Direct for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you could save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-700-5593. That's 1-800-700-5593. 1-800-700-5593.
When Hurricane Harvey struck Texas and the Gulf Coast over the weekend, the world turned upside down for children and families in its path. When disaster strikes, children suffer in unimaginable ways, and Save the Children is there to meet their unique needs. Even now, Save the Children is in Texas and along the Gulf Coast, making sure hurt and frightened children impacted by Hurricane Harvey get the help they need. To care for and protect children has been the mission of Save the Children for nearly 100 years. So when tragedies like Hurricane Harvey strike, they're prepared and they're on the ground for children and their families around the world and right here at home. Your $50 right now to Save the Children will deliver essential supplies for families forced to evacuate, including hygiene kits, blankets, portable cribs, and strollers. Children are counting on us. Call 888-248-0312. That's 888-248-0312. Or give online right now at savethechildren.org/radio.
Hello, Dan Proft here. Gentlemen, if you've been thinking about treatment for low testosterone, be sure to do your homework and go to a medical provider that you can trust specializes in testosterone therapy. That's why I went to Low T Center and got my levels checked. It was quick, easy, And now they have a great new location in downtown Chicago on the Mag Mile. If you've noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or motivation, you may have low testosterone. Low T levels make you feel tired and grumpy, can even raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. At Low T Center, service is covered by most health insurance. You'll find out your results in minutes. So guys, if you've been thinking about treatment for low testosterone, choose my friends at Low T Center, now with a location in downtown Chicago on the Mag Mile at 625 North Michigan Avenue. Call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's me. The number again, 312-239-3427. 312-239-3427 for Low T Center. Or you can go online and visit them at lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Former VA doc and accomplished surgeon Michael Mann joins us at 8:08 to discuss how the Veterans Administration truly fails U.S. vets.
And later, why the song Maryland, My Maryland will no longer be played. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Here are the stories we're watching at this hour. An apparent murder-suicide in Joliet involving a woman and her two daughters. A teen arrested in Hammond, Indiana, involved in murder and rape, according to police. Bears' Cameron Meredith suffers a torn ACL, done for the season. Mike Montgomery pitches the Cubs past the Pirates. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
They keep rescuing people from flooded homes in Texas. I'm Dave Anthony.
We have a saying here in Houston, come hell or high water, the Houston firefighters will serve.
They've got a lot of high water. Firefighter Association President Marty Langdon says many of their own homes are flooded as they keep saving others, filling up shelters. At least 9,000 are packed into the Houston Convention Center, nearly double what was planned for. But 14 people are reported dead in Texas, including Rick Salvadar's parents and 4 grandkids inside a van that got submerged.
Nobody knows where the van is. The authorities are saying they got to wait till the storm goes by before they can even search for it.
His brother was driving through flooding at the time, was the only one who got out alive. As the rain keeps falling and water rises, with the reservoir now spilling over in Houston, where Fox's Evan Brown is live.
Yeah, Dave, you can't go anywhere without running into water. That's true for the interstates and the neighborhood lanes. The Enchanted Oaks subdivision in the suburb of Spring, Texas. Its streets are underwater so much, I spotted only the top of a cab of a pickup truck. Stuart Kaiser's house is just 100 yards from there. He was sheltering in place. Now?
Plan B, which is leave before the water gets too deep to drive out.
But leaving is hard. It's just a mile or so to I-45, and you can get on I-45, but a few miles up, you're forced off of it. It's impassable, Dave.
Evan, President Trump has just taken off for Texas. He'll monitor storm response in Austin and join Governor Abbott in Corpus Christi, where Hurricane Harvey came ashore.
I toured the area, and it is just total devastation about how certain of these towns on the coast were wiped out.
Earlier, President Trump said all options are on the table with North Korea, reacting to the latest missile launch, flying over Japan this time. In a statement, he calls it threatening and destabilizing to the region. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
66 degrees, cloudy skies. We've had some heavy, dense fog this morning, but that has parted, and right now that's leaving us with more sun than clouds in Chicagoland. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott on AM 560, The Answer. Police are investigating an apparent murder-suicide. That after a woman and her young twin daughters were found dead in Joliet. Bodies discovered yesterday inside a home in the 400 block of North Reed. The names of the victims and cause, not exactly an exact cause, have not been released as of yet. The Illinois Senate is expected to take up a school funding overhaul that will increase aid to most of the state's more than 800 districts. Republican Governor Bruce Rauner said he'll sign that bill if it passes the Senate. Supporters have called the legislation historic. Teachers' unions are opposed to many portions of that bill. Charges are pending against a 15-year-old boy accused of murder and 2 rapes in Hammond, Indiana. Police say yesterday the teen sexually assaulted a 14-year-old girl last month and a woman earlier this month. He's also accused of killing a woman who was found stabbed to death last week in a home on Alexander Avenue. Federal jury convicts a Chicago police officer of firing shots into a car full of teens in 2013. The jury in Chicago returning a verdict at Marco Pirano's trial Monday, just hours after the beginning of deliberations.
Vast majority of Chicago police officers do their job with vigilance and with respect for the constitutional rights of the citizens that they protect. In this situation, that's not what Marco Pirano did.
Pirano faces a maximum 10 years in prison on each of 2 counts. Mike Montgomery tosses 7+ innings of 1-run ball. Cubs over the Pirates 6-1. Sox begin a 3-game series with the Twins in Minnesota. The news service of Napa Auto Parts with quality parts and more than 90 years of experience. Napa Auto Parts can help you keep your car on the road all summer long. So stop by your local Napa store and keep it running longer, stronger with Napa know-how. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Best Buy's business was better than expected in its summer quarter. Sales improved, especially for smartphones and wearable devices. The appliance and electronics chain is raising its forecast for the year. Anheuser-Busch, the company that makes Budweiser, is sending more than 150,000 cans of water to help people in Texas and Louisiana. Anheuser-Busch's Cartersville Brewery in Georgia occasionally stops production through the year to prepare canned water to be ready to distribute clean drinking water where it's needed. Athletic shoe chain Finish Line is predicting a steep decline in sales and profits this year. The company's predicting trends will remain challenging. Shares of Foot Locker and Nike both declined following Finish Line's forecast. The Dow closed down 5 points on Monday. NASDAQ was up 17. S&P gained a point. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling that you're safe to enjoy the things that matter most. ADT lets you take that feeling with you, whether you're at home, your business, or online. We help keep you safe with security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling for less than $1 a day. ADT, home, safe home.
Can you mow a yard, clean a house, haul off some junk? Then you can make extra money with the Tackle app. Tackle is an amazing new app that connects people who can perform small jobs with customers who need them done. Signing up is easy, so become a Tackle provider today. Go to Tackle.com to join. That's TAKL.com. As a Tackle provider, you can be your own boss, set your own hours, and make great money. Go to TAKL.com today.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm 75 years old, and I don't eat enough vegetables or fruit. And this is a great thing to do. And it seems that I have more energy. It seems that I take that, and I take a lot of blood pressure pills and what do you call it, cholesterol. But my doctor tells me, he said, no, you might cut the dosage down on your pills because what are you taking? I said, Balance of Nature. He said he didn't know what it was. So I told him, I said it's fruits and vegetables condensed into little pill form. He goes, well, whatever it is, it's doing you a lot of good.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
8:07 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Pike northbound Lakeshore Drive is jammed North Avenue to Fullerton, where the exit ramp is blocked with a crash, and southbound it's very heavy from Bryn Mawr to North Avenue. Delays on the inbound Edens Expressway start at Devon. 23 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 31. The Kennedy, 59 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 33 from Montrose, 30 in the Express, outbound 35 to Montrose, an hour and 6 minutes to O'Hare. Eisenhower, an hour and 6 minutes from Thorndale to the post office, outbound an hour and 2 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes, 3:55 to the drive, outbound 44 minutes. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford got a jam from 115th to the merge with a crash in the right lane. 45 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. Tri-State southbound, slow Washington to Oak Plain and Lawrence to the Bensonville Bridge.
Northbound jam, Harlem to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Reagan Tollway slow, 31 to Eola, and 83 to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial from I-55 most of the way to St. Charles, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Michael Stack.
Sunshine and clouds with a passing shower or two. Today's high 77. Clear skies tonight, low 61. Wednesday's sunshine and a couple clouds, high 80. An early passing shower Thursday, high 73. I'm Michael Stack on AM 560, The Answer.
67 degrees at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Heard Saturdays at noon right here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Of course, one of the stories about the VA, the scandal in the last couple of years was waiting lists. That was really the focus. Veterans not getting the care to which they are entitled. They earn the care. They were promised this care, and waiting lists. And as many as 250,000 veterans.
Yeah, died while in that waiting list scandal of 2014.
But of course, you always get the sense that what the media focuses on is the top line, and you're not getting the full story. You're not getting the full sense of perhaps the rot in a particular agency or organization, in this case, the Veterans Administration. You need people who have been on the inside, who are practitioners and have a little bit of comparative experiences to share in the private healthcare world versus what the VA is and how that works. And so thankfully, Dr. Michael Mann, who is an accomplished cardiothoracic surgeon, innovator of genetic and molecular therapies and diagnostics for thoracic and cardiovascular disease, he spent some time at the VA. He is educated, accomplished, successful doctor and surgeon, and now he has written a book, Mission Betrayed, How the VA Really Fails America's Vets, getting below the top line of waiting lists. And for more on this, we're pleased to be joined now by Dr. Michael Mann. Dr. Mann, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
So, part of what you do in your book, which I like, is tell the stories of particular veterans to underscore what's actually happening inside the VA. And you devote one chapter to a veteran named Daniel Harrison. Can you tell us his story?
Absolutely. I'll point out that I did try to disguise the identities of the patients and their families, of course, to protect their privacy. But a fellow I did name Dan Harrison in the book was just, one of the great examples of the types of patients that we're really privileged to treat and to try to care for in the Veterans Health Administration. Robust former Marine who had a very, very difficult heart surgery and ended up for weeks and even months struggling to recover with a weakened heart. And the tragedy of the story of patients like Dan Harrison is that at almost any other hospital, almost any other institution, he would have emerged from that experience primarily intact and able to enjoy the rest of the time he otherwise would have had with his family. But unfortunately, it was just a combination of errors and really just ridiculous failings that resulted in his demise. He ended up dying on what we call a monitored ward, so a ward in which patients' heartbeats and oxygen levels are monitored continuously by very sophisticated machinery. And yet the nurses who were supposed to be watching that machinery continuously failed to notice that he developed a plug in his breathing pipe, in his breathing system, and died while the machines were continuously monitoring his heartbeat. No intervention. In fact, nurses went in during the course of the night in which he died asked him if he wanted the TV to be turned up or down, and failed to notice that the man was at first expiring and then finally lying dead in his bed for hours.
Then when did they finally discover him? You said hours later?
Oh, it wasn't until they finally came to, basically redo his sheets in the morning that the nursing assistants realized that the man had been dead.
There are other stories in here, again, as you mentioned, about protecting privacy, but Joseph Willens and Greg Moran. I don't know if there's another story that you want to particularly profile to drive home some of these larger points. But it seems to me some of the book is a typical story about a government agency that suffers from sclerotic bureaucracy. And then another part of the story is something more than that, particularly with the unique charge that the VA has.
No, absolutely. And first, let me point out that although every hospital has its own, stories of failure of individual practitioners, what I really want people to understand about the VA is that it's an institutional acceptance of mediocrity, 50 or more year tradition of institutional indifference that has resulted in these types of failures being unfortunately common and typical. Also, let me point out that one of the most disturbing things revealed in my book is that the VA hides this acceptance of mediocrity and too often deadly health care behind a veil of very intentionally misleading statistics that have deceived the American people and continue to deceive Congress into believing that the VA actually delivers excellent or even outstanding health care. And unfortunately, much of the VA bureaucracy is now focused entirely on this web of deceptive statistics. I myself discovered way too late in my own tenure at the VA that I'd actually been prevented from performing potentially life-saving surgery for some patients because their cases were considered too high risk and therefore too much of a threat to those VA statistics. And I later realized to the financial bonuses of certain VA administrators that continue to depend on those statistics. So, go. I'm sorry.
No, is anybody auditing the VA here to uncover these deceptive statistics, whether it be, with these bonuses or with high-risk patients?
Well, the VA declared a self-transformation in the 1990s. And unfortunately, it amounted to the institution learning how to develop and how to use these types of statistics to paint this facade of transformation, of outstanding health care, while leaving its foundation entirely intact. As I said, there really persists, and I think most Americans would be shocked to learn this in the year 2017, after 2.5 years of scandal or more, that there persists at the VA an institutional attitude, not an individual attitude, but an institutional attitude, that it's at its core a second-rate healthcare system designed to treat a group of second-class patients. And again, an attitude that persists for decades and inevitably results in the types of stories that unfortunately I have to tell in my book.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to me that the real takeaway is that you would think that people there and the culture there would be, we have this awesome responsibility to treat those who fought and served our nation. And in point of fact, as you just said, instead they think they have second-class patients. I just on the statistics matter, one of the points you make, and you cite government reports, is that there's no kind of standard of physician productivity. And it turns out that physician productivity in terms of caseload, much different in the private sector than in the VA. And I wonder if they're having fun with numbers and playing, kind of the lies, damn lies, and statistics game. What measurements should be imposed upon the system that would give you an accurate depiction of what is or is not happening?
Well, and a real irony, Dan, is that a lot of these statistics are already being collected. The statistics that you quote, that I quoted from other sources in the book, have been out there for years. The government accounting bodies have been looking at this aspect of the VA and have been demanding that the VA institute some level of self-standards in order to really focus on its core mission. But instead, the statistics that the VA has focused all of its attention on are these deceptive, what are called metrics, or reflective examples of care that are used to mimic an excellent healthcare system without actually having to deliver that type of care.
Well, what is President Trump's new VA bill and reforms? Are they helping out at all?
Great question. And the problem is that it's the Band-Aid approach to individual manifestations of VA failure that, although extremely well-intentioned, are really one of the most dangerous aspects of the story and the so-called VA scandal to this point in time, because these Band-Aid solutions, again, for individual manifestations of what's really a core failing, continue to distract the nation's attention away from the core overhaul and the real upheaval of the institution that is going to be necessary if we're really going to turn around the VA at its core and at its foundation.
He is Dr. Michael Mann, professor of surgery and director of the Cardiothoracic Translations Research Lab at the University of California. Also the author of this book that we've been discussing per his time at the VA, Mission Betrayed, How the VA Really Fails America's Vets. Dr. Mann, thank you so much for joining us and for this book and for stepping out and recounting for the American people what you witnessed during your time at the VA.
Thank you, Dan. It was, I must admit, a difficult decision to come forward at this time and to try to expose these things to the public. But if we don't seize this opportunity for reform now, I'm not sure when we'll get another chance. And there's a website for the book, missionbetrayed.com, where people can learn more and get in touch.
Missionbetrayed.com, the book Mission Betrayed, How the VA Really Fails America's Vets. Dr. Mann, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, both of you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
They did rescue. We're watching some footage from Houston. They rescued 300 animals yesterday that were at different shelters. And did you see it? One was a bulldog. Oh, he looked like Bunky.
Nice. It's real it's a vicarious thrill that you got.
Patchy fog this morning, which is lifting slowly, and we're going to have some sunshine, as you can see, and a few clouds by this afternoon, a passing shower or two, a high of 77 degrees. Tonight, clear, a low of 61, and for Wednesday, just a great day. Get out and enjoy partly sunny skies and warmer, a high of 80 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Well, we have lots of humans stuck in traffic on Lakeshore Drive this morning. Northbound, it's a jam from North Avenue to Belmont. The exit to Fullerton is closed due to a rollover crash. And southbound, it's very heavy from Bryn Mawr to North Avenue. 35 minutes, Hollywood and Monroe. Getting back into those back-to-school type travel times. Edens Expressway, 21 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 34. The Kennedy, an hour from O'Hare to downtown, outbound an hour and 7 minutes. The Eisenhower's an hour and 4 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 53 minutes. Stevenson, an hour 12 from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44 minutes. The Ryan, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 50 minutes, 8094 to the Ryan. There was an earlier crash near the merge. And the tollways, other than the Adams tollway, they're all pretty heavy. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Text from 847, did Dr. Mann send President Trump a copy of his book? No, he should. Send one to General Kelly as well. Upstream-ideas.com is our digital platform with original content that complements what we do each morning on this show. Long-form interviews in our Against the Current series this week featuring the morning drive team at WVON, Charles Thomas and Mays Jackson. We have a discussion about race relations in Chicago and Illinois and in a political context as well. 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries from yours truly. 2-minute warnings from Pat Hughes of the Illinois Opportunity Project. as well as podcasts for Illinois Rising program on these airwaves, Sundays at 3 p.m., focused on state policy and politics. Our new series, Heart of the Matter, which is professional women speaking colleague to colleague about the important issues of the day and their impact on families. And our new portal to get free property tax reports on your home, defendhomeowners.com. Defendhomeowners.com. You want to check that out. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
All right, I have to admit it was an eyesore, the chipping and paint peeling on our front and back porch. It looked awful, but thanks to CertaPro painters, the porch looks brand new. The painters who showed up were professional, respectful. They were done in just a few hours, and when they left, the house looked brand new. They really are the best in the business, and it's not too late to book your exterior painting project. There are several spots open on CertaPro's summer schedule. Here's an idea. Let CertaPro painters transform your home while you're on vacation and return to a freshly painted house. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and so we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. For a free estimate, call 1-800-GO-CERTA, C-E-R-T-A, or visit CertaPro.com, that's Certa with the C. Get that painting project off your to-do list. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mark Weingart, President and CEO of Star Creations, Inc., the fastest-growing supplier of wall decor products in the U.S. When it comes to banking, I don't want to be a small fish in a big pond. That's why I bank at Signature Bank Chicago. At Signature Bank, every customer is important. I know I can pick up the phone and talk to any one of the decision makers I know and trust at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, they understand and respond to the unique needs of my business with flexibility and fairness. I'm proud to bank with Signature Bank because I know they're deeply invested in the success of Star Creations.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You've heard me talk about my friends at Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville. They're well known for excellent customer service, including custom designs, jewelry repairs by their on-site expert craftsmen. Their knowledgeable and friendly staff always ensures that you feel like family. Right now, they're offering a special family incentive for everyone. 20% off jewelry repairs and custom designs. You mention my name, Mike Gallagher, and get this exclusive offer. Roland's Jewelers has a large selection of beautiful engagement rings, and they're a direct diamond importer. Take advantage of wholesale prices on quality loose diamonds, as well as fine jewelry from designers like Hearts on Fire, Simon G., John Hardy, and Roberto Coin. Don't forget to tell them Mike Gallagher sent you. You'll get 20% off jewelry repairs and custom designs. I want you to visit RolandsJewelers.com or call 847-918-7300, 847-918-7300. Roland's, a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
Do you know the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers? We do. Do you know how to make your logo come alive and magnetically attract new, long-lasting customers? We do. And do you know how to ensure your logo is delivered on the right promotional items on time at a great price? We do. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Who are we? We're 4imprint. the nation's leading team to make your logo shine on your choice of thousands of promotional items. And right now, we want to share with you, for free, the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers. Discover them now by texting TOP to 642-642. Let us show you what a difference the right promotional items can make to help grow your brand. With 4 Imprint, you'll get high-quality products, exclusive items, popular brands, on-time delivery, and outstanding customer service. That's what we do. Discover the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers by texting TOP to 642-642. That's TOP to 642-642.
Back in 1993, Medishare was known as the best-kept secret in healthcare. But not anymore. Today, there are hundreds of thousands of Americans who've discovered what us long-timers have known since the beginning. Medishare is affordable healthcare that really works. The great thing is, we're not an insurance company. We're a nonprofit community. Hundreds of thousands of honest, hardworking people who agree to share each other's medical bills. Every share goes to help a fellow member. And when we say affordable, we mean it's common for our members to save upwards of $500 a month. Best of all, Medishare is always open. You can join anytime. So how about now? Isn't it time you joined Medishare?
Call 844-41-BIBLE to find out how much you can save on your health care. Medishare, now available in Montana. Call 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE.
AM 560, The Answer.
President Trump and the First Lady on their way right now to Corpus Christi, Texas, and then later to visit the FEMA headquarters in Austin, Texas.
There you go.
And maybe she could help out the kiddies by reading Party Animal.
Lucy Goosey was thrilled. She was filled with delight. Her birthday was coming. Who should she invite?
I mean, really, she'll make it all better.
I think a lot of the adults would like to hear that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact. Coming up, it's Criminal Justice Week on Chicago's Morning Answer. We're going to speak with Carl Hart, Professor Carl Hart. He is the chair of the Department of Psychology at Columbia University. That is at 8:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Houston's 2 major reservoirs are going to have uncontrolled discharges due to Tropical Storm Harvey. The Army Corps of Engineers announcing this morning that the Addicks Reservoir's water level is at 108 feet, the Barker Reservoir 100 feet. And again, the uncontrolled discharge means water will be tumbling over the tops of those dams. More rain is the last thing Southeast Texas needs, but it's what the region's going to get today, up to 15 inches of rain in and around Houston, where Alyssa King and her family had to get out of their home overnight.
It's been pretty awful, but I'm thankful for all the people that have helped us out and are here, doing what they can.
President Trump headed to Texas as we speak to get an update on Harvey recovery efforts. He will center that visit on Corpus Christi today. South Korea training for a quick and devastating assault on North Korea should the need arise. The nation's Air Force ran a live fire drill simulating a quick decapitation of North Korea's leadership after a North Korean missile flew over Japan earlier in the day. The launch escalated already frayed tensions in the region. A Pennsylvania man is heading up a class action lawsuit against Aetna. The suit filed yesterday says the health insurer violated the privacy of its customers by sending some of them letters where the words filling prescriptions for HIV was visible. The suit claims the error impacted up to 12,000 customers. Authorities are identifying the woman and her 6-year-old twin daughters who died in an apparent double murder-suicide in Joliet. Police say the bodies of 41-year-old Celisa Henning and Michaela and Addison Henning were discovered yesterday inside a home in the 400 block of North Reed Street. The Illinois Senate expected to take up a school funding overhaul that will increase aid to most of the state's more than 800 districts. It passed the House yesterday in Springfield. Republican Governor Bruce Rauner has said he will sign that bill. Cubs over the Pirates 6-1. Sox begin a 3-game series with the Twins in Minnesota this evening. And the news is service of Napa Auto Parts. With quality auto parts and more than 90 years of experience, Napa Auto Parts can help you keep your car on the road all summer long. Stop by your local Napa store and keep it running longer, stronger with Napa know-how. 8:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says it's not time to play politics.
I run away from the politicizing of natural disasters. I hate political gamesmanship that people engage in. This is not a time for that. Right now, the people of Texas need our help, need our prayers, and we don't need to point any fingers of blame.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
What do you call charging thousands of dollars for hearing aids? I call it outrageous, because hearing should not be a privilege for the rich. It's a basic right everyone deserves. Hi, I'm Dr. Chirakuri, board-certified ear, nose, and throat physician. If you or a loved one suffer from hearing loss but can't afford thousands for a hearing aid, I created MD Hearing Aid for you, a high-quality medical-grade hearing aid for a fraction of that price.
Try MD Hearing Aid at home, risk-free for 45 days. Call 1-800-300-0868.
No costly doctor's visit, no expensive and time-consuming fittings or appointments, no ugly, old-fashioned hearing aid that costs thousands. MD Hearing Aid is an FDA-registered, audiologist-tested hearing aid that's discreet and lets you hear what you've been missing at a savings of more than 80% off the average price of a traditional hearing aid.
Try MD Hearing Aid risk-free for 45 days. Call 1-800-300-0868. Plus, you'll get free shipping and free batteries for a year. 1-800-300-0868.
8:34 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens runs 21 minutes from Lake Hook to the junction. Outbound 34. The Kennedy inbound delay start at Nagel. 52 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 31 from Montrose. 28 to the Express. Outbound 32 minutes to Montrose. An hour and 7 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower's an hour and 5 minutes. Thordale to the post office. Outbound 53 minutes. Stevenson an hour and 14 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. An hour from the Tri-State. Outbound 42 minutes to 355. Ryan 24 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57 30 minutes. I-80 to the Merge. Beach 443. Lakeshore Drive southbound jammed. Bryn Mawr to North Avenue. Northbound from North Avenue to Belmont. The exit to Fullerton remains closed with a crash. Tri-State southbound, flow 21 to Atkinson and Lawrence to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound from Southwest Highway to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Eastbound Adams Tollway now heavy. Elmhurst Road to Lee. Veterans Memorial delays are from I-55 to the Reagan Tollway, Roosevelt to St. Charles, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Southbound 53 jammed Rand to Kershaw. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Clouds and sun this morning, with passing shower or two this afternoon, high 77, clear, and 61 overnight. 67 at O'Hare, 71 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Are you sure your business is being seen online? Visit beingseen360.com to discover how being seen online can improve traffic, leads, and sales. beingseen360.com.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So President Trump is making his way to Houston, as you mentioned, Amy. He and Melania. And here was Ted Cruz yesterday from the Convention Center in Houston that has become a makeshift shelter, talking about the immediate needs. This is in real time yesterday afternoon. He was talking to Katie Turin, MSNBC, talking about the real needs and the resources being deployed to address those needs.
And I'll tell you right now, the highest priority still remains on the preservation of life, on high water rescues, people who are still trapped. It is still raining like crazy outside, and the flooding continues to rise. I think we're headed towards getting through this, and we're going to get through this. But right now, there's been an incredible coordination of assets, of local and state and federal assets, all working together, first responders risking their lives to pull people out of harm's way.
And here are kind of a delineation of those assets.
We've got over 500 Texas DPS troopers here in Houston. We've got over 3,000 National Guardsmen. We've got the Coast Guard that is actively assisting in search and rescue. We've got actually the Border Patrol down from the border that has high water rescue experience coming up to provide assistance. And the focus needs to be continuing on reaching those people in need.
And President Trump yesterday at his joint presser with the Finnish president also addressed the alacrity with which the federal government will respond to the material needs of Houston area residents.
I think that you're going to see very rapid action from Congress, certainly from the president, and you're going to get your funding. It's a terrible tragedy. Your governor has been absolutely outstanding in the job he's done and his entire staff. And I will say that I just spoke with Greg, and he is working like 24/7. We expect to have requests on our desk fairly soon. I think that Congress will feel very much the way I feel, in a very bipartisan way. That will be nice. But we think you're going to have what you need, and it's going to go fast.
I mean, he's compassionate. I mean, I feel like he cares in his heart about the people of Houston and the surrounding towns, and they really need our help. I mean, 6,000 people rescued so far. Thousands more need help, and they're telling people that if you need to be rescued, put a white sheet or any type of sheet you have in the biggest window that would be visible to rescuers. And people are helping out. I mean, there was a call to action to have people, if you own a boat, get out there and start bringing people in, start bringing in animals. I mean, they rescued 300 animals too, and it's the magnitude of this hasn't even been felt because right now, Hurricane Harvey, it's still churning over the area and dumping more water.
Yeah,
I mean, we have to pray for these people.
Yeah, that's the brutal part. That's not over yet. The storm is not over. And also, you've got to deal with some looting. You got to deal with floating colonies of fire ants.
Yes,
and
snakes.
But not sharks.
No, that was...
that's a fake.
That's a fake. But they got Jesse Waters on that because he was comparing it. He showed that picture on Fox last night and said, this is similar to a scene from Sharknado. So
well, it is similar to a scene from Sharknado in the sense that it's fake.
Yeah, it's fake. So just be careful what's fake news, what's real news. But I just keep thinking back to the part when the governor of Texas said, if you decide to stay in your house, get a Sharpie and write your social security number on your arm or your leg somewhere we can see it in your name in case we have to identify you as a corpse. And 2 people confirmed dead in that family I told you about in the van. There's 4 children and their great-grandparents. They were all in a van. The driver got out, the uncle, but they haven't confirmed them dead, but they're still missing at this point. So the fatality count is going to only rise, unfortunately.
And earlier in the show, in case you missed it, we talked to Scott Wilder from Save the Children, savethechildren.org/radio, savethechildren.org/radio. He requested a $50 donation, and that helps them provide material resources, blankets, and all of an individual's material needs, as well as to operate the centers. They have centers on the ground in Houston. They have people on the ground in Houston where they're essentially set up makeshift daycare centers to care for children while their parents deal with the devastation they've got to deal with. So that may be one way to help out.
Yeah, and they're opening up a center in Dallas. They opened up one also in San Antonio because they're shipping people out of affected areas, just for their safety, people that are escaping, with only their lives. So we have to help out our fellow Americans if we can. Again, savethechildren.org/radio, or you can call 888-248-0312. Let me say it again, 888-248-0312.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Well, we have plenty of sunshine here. The fog has lifted from this morning. We can't rule out, though, a quick passing shower or 2 this afternoon, a high of 77. Tonight, clear, a low of 61. And tomorrow, we're going to have partly sunny skies. It's going to be a beautiful day, warmer, a high of 80. Let's now go into our alarm detection systems traffic center. Very busy man this morning. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Yeah, it's been a rough morning, Amy. Dan, I've got ugly things on Lakeshore Drive. A rollover crash, which has the ramp from northbound Lakeshore Drive to Fullerton still closed. There are vehicles off in the grass there. It's jammed northbound from North Avenue to Belmont. Traffic is heading to circle back, so that whole area is really congested. And the southbound delays are very heavy from around Bryn Mawr to North Avenue. Eden's inbound light, 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 38 minutes. Kennedy, a little bit improved for now, 52 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, though, it's an hour and 7 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, an hour and 9 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 49 minutes. Stevenson, an hour 14, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42 minutes. Ryan is 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, slow 21 to Atkinson and Lawrence to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound Southwest Highway to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Veterans Memorial heavy from I-55 most of the way to St. Charles, then from the Army Trail Toll to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
And right now, the former FEMA chief is on CNN saying that Harvey is worse than Katrina.
That's a statement.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got 3 feet of water with, as you said, maybe another foot coming.
Yeah. 15 inches more today, they're expecting. Changing gears, if you're looking to secure financing on a new home, then you need to do what I did and call David Hochberg at Pearl Mortgage and get approved to purchase a home before speaking with a realtor. Other lenders will pre-approve or pre-qualify you, which are worthless, whereas David will approve you to purchase a home. You'll be approved to purchase a home, so you'll know exactly what you can afford. With a Team Hochberg loan approval, your offer will stand out to sellers because you'll be able to close within 10 business days of signing a contract. Being able to close within 10 business days of signing the contract, as long as there's no appraisal or title challenges, and the condo is warrantable of purchasing a condo, is almost as good as a cash offer. Your offer, along with a Team Hochberg loan approval, will stand out from the other offers unless they also have a Team Hochberg approval letter. To secure your loan approval, call David now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. David has helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but again, he can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had some ulcer issues on my leg that I had from Vietnam. It would erupt on occasion of periods of stress. When I was taking juices, these ulcers had disappeared, but I was not able to get good quality fruits and vegetables to make good juices. And, these ulcers came back. But since I've been taking the fruit and the veggie capsules, these ulcers again have subsided.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
When Hurricane Harvey struck Texas and the Gulf Coast over the weekend, the world turned upside down for children and families in its path. When disaster strikes, children suffer in unimaginable ways, and Save the Children is there to meet their unique needs. Even now, Save the Children is in Texas and along the Gulf Coast, making sure hurt and frightened children impacted by Hurricane Harvey get the help they need. To care for and protect children has been the mission of Save the Children for nearly 100 years, so when tragedies like Hurricane Harvey strike, they're prepared and they're on the ground for children and their families around the world and right here at home. Your $50 right now to Save the Children will deliver essential supplies for families forced to evacuate, including hygiene kits, blankets, portable cribs, and strollers. Children are counting on us. Call 888-248-0312. That's 888-248-0312. Or give online right now at savethechildren.org/radio.
The war on depression is over.
You win.
Depression, with all the drugs and side effects, the endless counseling, the frustration with life and relationships.
The war is over. You win.
In a few short weeks, your life will change.
It's TMS therapy.
Over 1 million people have been treated, and the results are nothing short of outstanding. It's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medicare.
Most drugs and other treatments just mask the depression.
TMS treats the cause, so you can win the war with your depression. remission or cure.
Depression, gone.
Get a free consultation at one of the HPR centers in Chicagoland and Wisconsin. Ask questions.
For you or someone you love, safe, revolutionary, effective treatment for depression.
Let depression recovery begin. HPR centers.
800-604-0208. 800-604-0208.
Go to endmydepression.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Speaking of End My Depression, an aversion to adulting, the iGeneration, iGen, as the kids call it.
That's what it is now, iGen?
iGen, coming after millennials. Why today's super connected kids are growing up less rebellious, more tolerant, and less happy, and completely unprepared for adulthood. This a new book from a psychology professor at San Diego State, Jean Twenge. She argues that the iGeneration, neither as cynical as Gen X nor as overconfident as their immediate predecessors, the millennials. In fact, the older members of iGen, now in their teens and early 20s, represent a radical departure when it comes to their views on religion, free speech, relationships, and technology. Church-going and faith are in free fall among iGeners, but their views on LGBTQ matters are more liberal than those of any previous generation. So too are their views on sex. They're having less of it themselves, but are less just judgmental about the habits of others because tolerance is their church, and they don't interact with other human beings, so it's more difficult to have carnal relations.
Right.
You know what
no,
I'm saying?
they don't. I mean, honestly, I don't know if I told you the story of the two teenagers walking down the street. One was feeling suicidal and texted to his friend who he was walking with down the street that he felt like killing himself. I mean, it's this non-communication society that we live in. I don't know how these kids are going to interview for positions for employment because you have to talk to the person you're trying to get a job from.
Well, this is it, and maybe it's time to take the smartphones away from the youngsters, including your overgrown youngsters. Miss Twenge, the professor, argues technology is central to understanding this generation's experience across all races and classes. They spend on average 6 hours a day with new media. She argues that this is the first generation that prefers virtual to real relationships. They don't date as much or hang out with their friends as often, yet they don't spend their time reading in any serious or systematic way either. They're much less likely to read books than previous generations. They're also academic skills are lagging, and they're less informed about current events. Interestingly, she goes on to point out how this is unhappy. This leads to unhappiness, I should say. She argues that we're at the forefront of the worst mental health crisis in decades, with rates of teen depression and suicide skyrocketing since 2011. So you're going to take your phones away from Peyton and Eli? By the way, Professor Twenge is going to be on our show this coming Monday at 8:30.
Good. And of course, as we're talking about this, I'm texting my niece wishing her a happy birthday. I mean, seriously, nobody talks to anybody anymore, but that's how I can communicate with them. But yes, I do take their
it's
phones
moderation,
away.
right? I mean, it's not you can't use the phone or you can't text. It's to the exclusion of interpersonal relationships.
No, I still make sure that my kids have play dates. I know that sounds juvenile, but that's what they are, and that they're not on their phones constantly. Because if they could, they would be. What do you do? Because I think texting saved your life.
I actually
because you don't like to talk to people. So
No.
texting is a godsend for you.
No, I should have been an iGener, but the only difference is I don't worship at the Church of Tolerance and I read. But so I did some of what they do as a kid, like no interpersonal relationships. You know? But
you ever have a
I did
sleepover?
read and stay up with current events and so on and so forth.
Did you ever have a sleepover, Dad?
Yeah, it was like
Slumber party?
It was like
Yeah.
Steve Martin and Charles Grodin and the Lonely Guys. I had like one friend, and then we had cardboard cutouts of human beings that we pretended we were having a party.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah, it was just fun. It was a lot of fun. I remember that night vividly. Also, this about tolerance. You know where tolerance leads, right? It's not tolerance.
Socialized
It's not
society.
tolerance in respect. It's tolerance eschewing judgment. There's no right or wrong. That's what they mean by tolerance. And where does that lead? To intolerance. something deemed an offense against tolerance, members of iGen are much more likely than their predecessors to support restricting speech. More than 1 in 4 agree that a faculty member who on a single occasion says something racially insensitive should be fired. 16% believed a student who did the same thing once should be expelled. Ms. Twenge, the professor, argues this is the dark side of tolerance. It begins with good intentions of including everyone and not offending anyone, but ends with a reluctance to explore deep issues and with careers destroyed by a comment someone found offensive and the silencing of all alternative viewpoints. Aren't we seeing that play out in real time?
Yes. University of Maryland decided yesterday not to play the Maryland by Maryland, My Maryland song anymore because it rips on Northerners, calling us Northern scum.
Maryland, my Maryland, she is not dead, nor deaf, nor dumb. Huzzah, she spurns the Northern scum. She breathes, she burns, she'll come. Maryland, my Maryland.
I think that's actually a rather catchy tune, and it. I assume this was sung by the same barbershop quartet that is routinely featured on The Family Guy.
You have AIDS.
Yes, you have AIDS.
I'd hate to tell you, boy, that you have AIDS.
You got the AIDS.
You may have caught it when you stuck that filthy needle in here.
Or maybe all that unprotected sex put you here.
It isn't clear, but what we're certain of is you have AIDS.
Yes, you have AIDS.
Not HIV, but full-blown AIDS.
Nice crescendo.
Be sure that you see that this is not HIV, but full-blown AIDS. Not HIV, but really full-blown AIDS.
I'm sorry, I wish it was something less serious.
I think I appreciate their work, and maybe that could replace the Maryland State song, or you could do some kind of mashup of it. By the way, since Seth MacFarlane is a big dumb social justice leftist, we're completely absolved. We can play that as many times as we want because he is genuflex before the Church of Tolerance. So just so you know, I don't want to hear any flack for playing a Family Guy song. Seth MacFarlane is absolved of any such criticism.
But back to the Maryland song, which we played because we wanted to play that drop from Seth MacFarlane.
Well, that's you.
Your dark
sense
that's all
of humor.
me, right, Dan? Yeah. But they decided to drop the song being played by the band before the football game because of what happened in Charlottesville.
Bob and Lyle, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, on a funnier note, you ever see the old movie, The Time Machine?
Yes.
Where people are waiting around and they're going to be eaten by these I think they're called Morlocks or whatever. But anyway, that's what's happening in society. They're so tolerant of everything, they don't care anymore. And incidentally, I sent you guys a copy of my book. I'm also an author, and it goes a lot deeper than just just the peripheral edge of it. It actually has to do with modern science, because modern science ties in that there is no God, and everything. Even you watch the eclipse, there was no mention of God anywhere. This is what happened in our society. So
thanks.
We're actually falling apart at the seams because of that.
Thanks for the call, Bob. A nice book plug for yourself there.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When you have sleep apnea, traveling can be a real drag because you have to drag your big, bulky home CPAP device with you everywhere you go. But not anymore. Now you can travel easily and sleep comfortably anywhere thanks to Transcend, the world's very first mini CPAP. And right now, you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. So call now, 1-800-600-3585. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. Transcend is so incredibly small and light, you can easily fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't delay. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-600-3585. Again, that's 1-800-600-3585.
Hey, how would you like to have insurance for your computer network? Something to protect your hardware, software, and give you peace of mind. Well, using Turnkey IT for installation and support is like having insurance for your computer network. They have one affordable monthly payment that your company can pay for, and that will get you a full team of certified technicians. They work in the background to ensure your systems are up and running. They offer Office 365 hosting, advanced network protection, cloud backup, disaster recovery, and unlimited remote and on-site support. They can help you on the phone or make house calls. They're available 365 days a year. Yes, that includes the weekends. So find out what Turnkey IT, locally owned and operated company, by the way, Turnkey IT can do for your company. It's easy. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro. All right, I have to admit it was an eyesore, the chipping and paint peeling on our front and back porch. It looked awful, but thanks to CertaPro painters, the porch looks brand new. The painters who showed up were professional, respectful. They were done in just a few hours, and when they left, the house looked brand new. They really are the best in the business, and it's not too late to book your exterior painting project. There are several spots open on CertaPro's summer schedule. Here's an idea. Let CertaPro painters transform your home while you're on vacation and return to a freshly painted house. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and so we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. For a free estimate, call 1-800-GO-CERTA, CERTA, or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with the C. Get that painting project off your to-do list. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical director, and Keith Conrad, our executive producer. We're back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
An apparent murder-suicide in Joliet. The victims, a woman and two daughters, are identified. A Chicago policeman convicted of using excessive force in a shooting. White Sox take on the Twins tonight. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.